Zero carbs beer is here. Introducing Bud Light Next. Zero carbs, 80 calories. Super crisp light beer. Bud Light Next. Brewed for what's next.
And welcome to the UGASports Watch Along Show. I am Dayne Young. This is Jim Donnan, the College Football Hall of Famer and former Georgia head coach. We are getting set for Georgia versus TCU for the national championship. I'll tell you exactly what this broadcast is in just a minute if you're just now finding us. But first, Coach Donnan, we did this last year for Georgia's national championship win over Alabama. I just want to hand you the floor. Get your words on Georgia trying to go back-to-back national titles with your former player, Kirby Smart.
Well, as everybody knows, it's very hard to do. Hasn't been done in the modern college football playoff era. The last team to do it really was Alabama, which Kirby Smart was a part of. But congratulations to both teams. Both of them have had tremendous years. And when you get to the last two, you can throw the records out because sometimes the best team doesn't win. Sometimes things go against you. But I think we certainly had a wake-up call last week to let everybody know on our team that you're going against some good players and you better execute. And that's what's got to happen tonight because we're going against a TCU team that's well-coached, has a really good quarterback. We've gone against some quarterbacks this year, Dane, and the fact that Hendon Hooker, Bo Nix, now two of the Final Four Heisman Trophy guys, and Stroud last week, and now Duggins. Health of your team is so paramount at the end of the year. I used to talk about it when we were in the 1AA playing 16 games or 14 games. You just you got to keep your guys fresh. I thought Kirby did a really good job all week of making sure that our guys conditioned a little bit more, but also stayed good on the recovery. In fact, they had Scott Sinclair, the strength coach, go down and personally have people in the hot tub and the cold tub to make sure they got 2 minutes of each when they finish their strength and conditioning workouts. Because you can tell those guys that do it, sometimes they miss it, but boy, they were right on them. It was like watching your kids in the water at the pool. They were right on top of it. I think that makes a difference. Certainly, big games are just the big players got to step up, and also the health situation. Miller, number 33 for the TCU Horned Frogs, is a good running back who got hurt last week. They had a JUCO guy come in and run the ball pretty well, but he's certainly their hammer and tong guy, that Miller. Hopefully he can get well next week and miss this week. Darnell Washington, for us, had an actual bruise on his leg, that contusion that came from Truss. 6'7" guy kicked him in the foot, and he got a bad contusion and is very sore. But every day he's getting better. He looked pretty good in warm-ups. Just the fact that he can go out there and line up and block some, not to mention catching some passes. I think keys to this game, to me, defensively, we've got to find a way to pressure, because when we don't pressure the quarterback, that's a real bad sign for our defensive backs. That's just something that we haven't done. It's play the ball in the air all year. And then tackle well in space. Our tackling was poor last week. We missed some tackles that would have been lost yardage. Scrambling hurt us. I know for a fact that Georgia worked every day on a scramble drill, 5 minutes with each positions group, where they had the scout team guy out there running around and you had to chase him. And so I hope that's going to work out for us. And then offensively, we didn't run the ball much last week, only 16 carries for our running backs. And Stetson had a few carries. I look for Stetson to keep the ball a little bit more against this 3-5 defense. And I look for us to hopefully find Brock Bowers a little bit early tonight. He just hasn't been a target much for us. I think maybe the defense is taking him away, but we got a lot of other weapons too. Last thing, we talk about the kicking game. They got a return guy in Darius Davis who scares me. When we punt tonight, I'm probably going to go outside and just hold my fingers crossed, because this guy can he's just electricity when he gets the ball. And I'd be surprised if we actually kick it to him. I can see us kicking the ball out of bounds, or maybe kicking to the field, because that gives you more room to cover, but it also lets you spread out and get more guys on him. So hopefully we won't have to punt too much. But glad you're here with me, Dane. We've been together here 2.5 years, and tell us who's bringing us this show tonight.
Well, it's a joy for me to sit beside you, Coach. I've learned so much from you. We've become personal friends off air, just a family friend of mine, and it's just such a privilege to be able to share this spot with you. And we had a great time doing it last year. It was very emotional. I enjoyed seeing your reaction to one of your other favorite people in Kirby Smart be able to achieve what he did at a place that you love so much, and that's the University of Georgia. To answer your question that you asked me, we're brought to you by Bud Light Next. That's Leon Farmer and his distribution group here in the Athens and Northeast Georgia area. So if you want to have a low-carb beer, then Bud Light Next is the way to go. We're also brought to you by Yancey Brothers. So when you ride around and you see that Caterpillar equipment on construction sites, or maybe you're thinking, this is the time for me to change career, they have a really cool package that they can get you set up with some fantastic tools, some great training all around the state of Georgia. If a career change is in mind for you, we'll tell you about both of them throughout the remainder of our broadcast. And since day one, we've been sponsored by Athens Ford. Plenty of great vehicles out on their lot. That Ford Bronco is the one that keeps catching my eye out there. So we'll tell you about all of them. Please do support the people who support us. And we're about to get set for another national championship game here. If you like this, let me go ahead, like it on YouTube, but also subscribe to us over there. We are the most popular Georgia Bulldogs media outlet on YouTube. We've really grown this channel a lot, in part because of nights like tonight. And so what this is a second screen experience. This is a College Football Hall of Fame head coach. He coached at Georgia. I know how to work some computers and some video things and crack some poor jokes every now and again. But what we do is we give you live commentary. We know more about Georgia than anyone that you'll find on the primary broadcast here. And we're going to tell you what we see. We'll be I'll be a little more unbiased than Coach will. You're in it. You want to see Georgia pull this out. And, well, frankly, I do too. All to say, we're a second screen experience. You have Georgia versus TCU on your main screen. You have us on your phone, your tablet, your computer, and we'll have
just got to time it up and delay it. But if you are on YouTube, that's great. If you're on Facebook, go on and share it with your friends. So a lot of them say, well, we should have known we could have watched it. And of course, a lot of people watch it after the game and listen to some of the things we had to say. But just unbelievable the way this thing's broken out here. Last week, over 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Hope we can match that tonight. But if it's just 5, whoever you are, we're glad you're with us, because we're going to give you the inside scoop on what's going on. There's not a lot of people that knew some of the things we told you last week, and they're not going to know it tonight unless you listen to our broadcast. So really proud of the preparation we've had. They talk about the road to the Final Two, and TCU certainly kind of a Cinderella. But how about Georgia? Give them credit. These guys, a lot of them were second, third team players last year, Dane, and now all of a sudden they've been called on to be the man, and every one of them has stepped up when he got that new role. Guys like Lassiter playing corner, Bullard playing star, the 2 inside linebackers, the inside defensive players. They've just really stepped up. And then we've had injury after injury on the offensive line, and guys like Willock have stepped up. Now all of a sudden you got Amarius Mims. How many teams in the country could have a guy that's an all-conference guy, and Warren McClendon, he made the coaches team, go down and replace him with a guy that's 6'7", 350.
Yeah.
Not many people can do that. So this is one of the most unbelievable feelings in the world. I was able to do it 7 times playing for this deal. To be in that tunnel and know that your team is getting ready to go out there and represent what you've tried to teach them, what you've instilled in them discipline-wise, and you have a plan. They've got a plan that they're going to try to attack us. We've got our own plan. Kirby articulated that to the team, and let's see if they can execute it.
Darnell Washington running out of the tunnel. He looks like he's a go. That was a question this week. Also cool to see Karis Jackson right beside Kirby Smart. Karis Jackson has been a Georgia player for a long time now. He's seen this program really elevate. And I think he embodies a lot of what Kirby Smart brought to Georgia.
Right. I mean, here's a guy. Any way you look at it, let's talk about the reality, how hard it is to get to the last dance here. This is the third time in 6 years that Georgia's been in the final game. I mean, just that itself is an accomplishment. Of course, everybody wants to get the W. That's what it's all about. You're going to be in everybody's doghouse if you don't win. But just to get there, particularly starting from scratch. I mean, Coach Rick left him some good players, and congratulations to Coach Rick on being named to the Hall of Fame today. Also, Paul Johnson, even though he coached at Tech, I got a lot of respect for him, and he did a good job at Navy and Georgia Southern. And the other guy that got in today, from a coaching perspective, Roy Kramer, who was the commissioner of the league when I was here, just a tremendous guy, a football guy. He coached at Central Michigan, had a good record. And
Matthew
he deserves
Stafford
it.
with Georgia right here, by the way.
Yeah. You going to interrupt me while I'm talking?
I didn't know if he was still going to be on the screen by the time, but I want to hear more about Roy Kramer.
But the thing is good about, I guess they got Tomlinson coming out there for TCU and Matt for Georgia. ACC refs tonight. I hope these guys don't pee down their leg. You got a chance here. Let these guys play.
Stetson Bennett, Nolan Smith, Cedric Van Pran, your captains.
They're going to call it, probably call tails, and whoever wins the toss is going to defer.
Did you prefer heads or tails?
I always call tails, but we'll see.
Did you have a reason?
I don't know. Just
tails never fails.
This guy's nervous there, man. Get your hand down there. He called tails.
Georgia wins the toss. Nolan Smith.
Kirby likes to defer, baby. Defense out there first. Podolesny kick it out of the end zone. Let's go get him.
Christopher Smith was the other captain. He was so close to the camera, I didn't see him.
I guarantee they're gonna come out smoking. They're gonna air it out on us.
Well, when we did our previews of TCU, and we're not the only ones that said this, but it really did ring in my ears when you said it's almost like Max Duggan had Tim Tebow's poster on his wall growing up.
Yeah, he's a very physical runner and a good passer. He got a really good target and one of the fastest guys. You know, my son Todd lives out in Oklahoma and he watches TCU a lot, and he said this guy's a really explosive receiver, and just ate up the Big 12. So everybody knows about him, but we got to see what happens here. There's a big stud 88. Large contingent of Georgia players get to go out there. The walk-ons, the scout team. I think it's good to reward them. And I'm fired up. How about you, Dane?
I am. A lot of former players out there as well. So Kobe Dean made the trip out there.
Good for him.
Former teammates.
I wish he could play.
Jermaine King with the super chat says, in the words of Chuck Dowdle, let's get it on.
All right.
Thanks for watching, Jermaine.
Is that what Chuck says?
I guess so. I thought Marvin Gaye said that.
How about let's get ready to rumble? We're ready to rock here.
Georgia getting set to kick off.
Refs already choked on the whistle.
National championship. Georgia going for back-to-back titles. Game is on.
It's a way to kick it deep, Pod.
So if you're just joining us, this is the Second Screen Experience. That's Jim Donnan, former Georgia head coach, College Football Hall of Famer. I'm Dayne Young with UGAsports.com. Have us on your second screen for a bit more Georgia-centric commentary, and then on your main screen, have Georgia versus TCU. And
tell them how to delay it there.
Well, I'm going to bring up the clock here in just a moment, and then you can pair up what you're seeing in front of you to us. Either pause us or pause your TV, and it'll get you synced up here.
Here we go. Duggan got one legging on and one legging off.
Like a penalty to
How
start.
about them starting with that? Give them some of that Arkansas stuff. I noticed on the first play, we were bailing on Quentin Johnson. By that, I mean lined up tight and then moved off of him. I could see some of that tonight. They got DeMarcado starting over Miller, so maybe Miller's not going to be able to play. They're running back. There's a little stemming.
There's that extension. He was open.
Yeah, it's just hard to play guys for that long, you know. I mean, you can't get back there and cover him when this guy's really good moving around. I like as long as they got 33, not even got his pads on.
So
Too bad for that kid. I mean, he's had a great year, hurts his knee, but he tried his best.
2nd and 15 for TCU. Ball at its own
This is
point.
probably going to be a run here. Screen. Make the tackle. Good job. Way to get out there, Munden. That's the best job of playing off a block I've seen with Ringo. Really got out there. And let's watch Georgia right here now. You going to get off the field? Are you going to come after him, or are you going to play 3-5 and drop some people? You got Carter out there wide. I haven't seen him out there all year. Have you?
Maybe once. It's rare.
We're changing up something here. There's Michael going over there.
Malachi Stark's very close to the line of scrimmage. He's backing up now.
Double covering some people. I like the way this quarterback started from the standpoint, nervous as a whore in church, which I would be too. But, you know, this is just a short arm throw here. I mean, you know, you got to get it to him. Couldn't have a better start for Dogs. One thing about a pass, you got to protect it, and you got to throw it, and you got to catch it. He overthrew one and underthrew the other. Let's don't get a penalty here.
Very safe rush.
That's the way Kyrus.
And Kyrus Jackson catches the ball.
If you could have told me on a Western Union or an email or whatever it might be, it's like that blonde that kept going out to the mailbox and kept getting mad, and the guy asked, "Why do you keep coming out here?" He said, "Well, I keep seeing on this computer I got mail." So we got mail here that Georgia could start on the 47-yard line and give them one possession. We've already stolen one. We've got some good hockey plays for this week, double reverse, stuff like that. But, you know, your basic stuff's going to be there. There's a good look at that 3-5 stuff. Look how deep their linebackers are. Now, some of them's going to come. And I'll be damned if Old Trust doesn't jump off sides just like we did.
Motion penalty for Georgia. It's going to be first.
Come on,
15.
Trust.
Both teams start the national championship that way.
We were going to run a counter play.
So Marius Mims is in the game.
So is Washington.
Darnell Washington is out there. Amarius Pride of Bleckley County, Georgia. Kenny McIntosh.
Good run on the outside counter.
So that's going to set up second down. Picked up about half of the yards they needed. It sounded like Darnell Washington is a pain. You said the bruise, kind of a pain tolerance thing. What can he handle?
But he's better every day. I mean, we're going empty here. Quarterback could run here on a quarterback draw.
There's Brock Bowers.
Who is that guy?
He's about a quarter of the way.
There's a difference between quarterback throwing a little velocity here and not. Right there. That's the perfect throw. Let's go get him right here fast. Stetson gets these balls. he's hard for the equipment man because he can't figure out which balls he wants to use. He likes those slicked up older balls, kind of go with his age. He's 25. Let's be careful here. Take care of the ball. Kyrus Jackson. We got a penalty there, too. Take the short. Right there, penalty on Georgia for movement. We had a movement with a receiver, stepped up on the damn line. You can't get lined up. Left end moved up with a guy in motion right when the ball was snapped. Yeah, it's going to hurt him because they'll hold it against him all night. What happened was, see, he moves up there after he. You can't do that when a guy's in motion. Use your best players here. I can tell you right now, if we run the toss into the boundary right now, they don't have enough players to Milton. We can block their ass right here. Toss it to him.
It's 1st and 15. Georgia and TCU territory.
Or screen it to Brocky.
You see how he got 4 more yards after contact there?
Yeah. There's 2 touches in a New York minute for that guy. I mean, you can't say enough about the call here. Watch the skies here. We got everybody going that way and then come back with a screen. Go block somebody, Mims. Kind of a new play for us. Screen to Bowers behind the line, didn't you think? We've run the quick screen, but not the slow screen off the fake block. No more stopping yourself here, Georgia. Let's go.
32 yards receiving now for Brock Bowers.
We got 2 backs in the game here.
Kendall
Come on,
Milton.
speed. Attaboy.
1st down and more.
That's a really good job there. But when I say 2 backs, you got another back to block here. Here's McIntosh coming out here, and he missed the guy. But plus Stetson's got the naked bootleg anytime he wants it, too.
So the over-under for Brock Bowers receiving yards was 60. He's already over halfway there.
Yeah, I hope he makes it because I told everybody to take it. Stay on the ground here, please.
Georgia with the ball at the 21-yard line.
There it
Stetson
is.
Keeper. And he just went over.
They used to call me Mr. Touchdown. They used to call me Mr. T. Woo! Well, he just went over 12.5, didn't he?
He did. 12.5 was his.
Well, we just got through saying he's wide open on that. You couldn't have had a better start there, dogs. People say, why do you let him hold for extra points? Well, what happened was we started with a new holder for Pod who had Camarda, the kicker last year, holding for him, and it just didn't feel good. He had a bad fall camp, and so we put Stetson in there. He just feels better. He gets it down, plus it helps your fakes. And it puts your quarterback in a little bit of jeopardy, but he puts that back knee back, and this is just an awesome play right here. He almost faked me out there. A good block there by – that's why you watch this show. We talked about it on Tuesday. Bennett's going to be there for more rushing yards than he has all year. He's there. He puts a lot of pressure on the defense when they got to play the run and then him. Outstanding series except for 2 penalties.
Easy to forget about him when you get the 7 points at the end.
Yeah. I just got to bring that up.
I want to tell you about our friends over at Yancey Brothers, and I'm actually going to bring up their portal here if you are interested in a job in the Northeast Georgia area or really anywhere in the state of Georgia. It's a great opportunity for you to check out what's going on with Yancey Brothers. So you see that big equipment, maybe Caterpillar or John Deere. That's an industry that is pretty darn stable because things need to be built, and the state of Georgia is definitely growing. And if you want to kind of make that first step into a career change, this is a great place to check out. So not only that, but in the Athens area, big time Georgia fans, and throughout the state, you'll find that as well. So just go check them out, yancybrothers.com/LP/dogs, and you can see their benefits, why maybe it's a good career time for you, or just contact them, get in their queue and say, hey, I heard about you guys from that show that Jim Donnan does. I heard about it during the national championship. I just want to see if it makes sense for me. Start a conversation with them and see if that's the benefits in terms of what they give you in terms of a tool set. I thought that was spectacular.
Yeah, here's the thing other thing that you can do with these guys is they will, if you get into their website and show that you're interested, that they will put you in school. They'll send you to school. They'll train you, and they'll put you in the right whatever your background is. They got some kind of job that you can utilize. And I know Brian Hawley, just a great supporter of Georgia, and also Greg. They just really do a good job of supporting our program, and that's the same thing with Athens Ford and Budweiser. Leon Farmer Distributing. I mean, they like the dogs just like we do. And I just tell you one thing: you just can't let up right now. You got to keep the hammer down, get ahead of these guys, because they're going to press a little bit. They're basically saying right now these guys might be a little better than what we thought they were. But watch this little play watch a step by Jones there. He takes a step in, then he goes back out. This is a predetermined quarterback run.
I love that in his final game, Stetson Bennett gets a rushing touchdown, because that's been a factor for him really all season. His highlight reel's really good on those kinds of runs. Yeah. That was a 21-yard rushing touchdown.
Was he over 12.5?
12.5 was his rushing over.
Well, he gets a sack, though. He could go back, but I don't think they're going to sack him much.
Let's run through that drive for you real fast. Stetson, 2 for 2 for 33 yards passing, both of those to Brock Bowers. And then rushing, Stetson Bennett ran for 21 yards. Kenny McIntosh ran for 7, and Kendall Milton ran for 6.
I can see him right now just lining back and just throw it deep. That's what I do. I mean, I got to take some shots here and hope Georgia gets some penalties. I mean, now they in 4 wides here. Look how wide these splits are. It look like Tennessee.
You see Chaz Chambliss out there, also someone that playing through injury.
Quarterback keep. Who's got him? About 3 of us. If we can get them to punt one more time, it's going to be very difficult for these guys to take a reality pill, but they're taking one. Look at this play by Carter. Comes from the backside. Play your technique, Munden. Close yardage play. First down. Probably some kind of screen here. There it is. Way to swarm it. I got one play right tonight. All right. I'm making beat us here.
3rd and 14.
We got 14 in the game. We got dime, man. Probably got Chris Smith up there playing somebody, man. Great job. We're all over these guys.
Georgia came out ready to play.
One thing they're doing right now, they're disguising their coverage really well. Oh, God. Who's it on?
Holding call against Georgia. Javon Bullard.
I don't know about that. So much for that good series. We got an inexplicable ability to get the ball, y'all. We got it.
Georgia football.
That's what Kirby was saying. Let them run one more play so we can get the penalty. Says somebody said that my audio's cracking up. Can you check it?
Yeah, I've got an earbud in. It's coming in and out a couple times, but for the most part, it's good.
Okay. That's something we haven't done this year is get many turnovers. So good to see that. 3 penalties for the Dogs. We got to watch those.
So Stetson Bennett runs for a touchdown, and then Christopher Smith forces a fumble. Talk about your senior leaders.
Yeah. Got Bowers out. Reverse pass. Or just reverse. I tell you one thing, Monkey ain't wasting any time getting it to number 19. He's playing in his home state. I bet he got 50 people there.
TCU played that pretty well.
That was a 6-yard game. 5.
Wound up being a 5-yard gain. George on the TCU 28.
You got a good chance to run to the right here.
He faked it. Bowers again? No?
Good gracious, make a catch there.
Lad McConkey.
I would have thrown that one short. Man, oh man, we're on fire here. Let's get it in there.
What a catch, Lad. What a ball player.
Jiminy Christmas.
It's all from his dad, Benji, that they're out there.
Red zone. Give it to pretty good run.
Well, and one thing I've learned from you, George, is in a decent spot here because of where that first down marker is. You don't have to get your first down with 10 yards to go.
Right. Right. Usually speaking, you divide 4 into 10 inside the 20. You got to average 2.5. But a lot of times pro coaches like Monkey, they consider this a passing down. I don't, but we're going to throw it. Trying to go to Big O. I can see us coming out and empty here. Boy, it's be a hero defense if these guys keep us to 3. Good coverage there by Bradford III.
They got a ref cam here to show how big Darnell Washington is.
Got to come back for it a little bit. I like the fact we're going no backs here and then coming back to 1 back. Could be a sweep to the field.
It's got a 3-yard shot.
That's a win for TCU. Poor play by us on 2nd down. God, he had Bowers early. Surprised he didn't have Kenny Mack in for that one.
So it's going to be a short field goal from the left side. 24-yard attempt for Jack Podlesny.
Surely we wouldn't fake this.
Can't imagine so. Kick is up. It's good.
Well, keep them in the game right there. Too bad.
So Georgia,
That was
if it wins tonight, this would be 6 wins in NFL stadiums this year, or 5 wins in NFL stadiums this year. 3 in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 1 in Jacksonville, and then Los Angeles.
yeah. A lot of these guys are going to be playing. That was too bad right there. You could have really put this game on ice. But I mean, this team's a comeback team. They've been They've won a lot of games in the second half.
Georgia has 94 yards on 10 plays. TCU has 1 yard on 6.
Yeah. Let's don't get too cocky here now. There's still plenty football left, but just how many yards Bowers got now? 40. Well, he ran the ball that time. That's it.
Right. So Brock Bowers has 2 catches for 33 yards and then the 1 run for 5 yards. While we are on a break, I do want to tell you about our friends at Athens Ford and some of the great vehicles they have on their lot. And even if you're not in the market for a vehicle, there's not a better place than Athens to get your vehicle serviced. And what I do and what I like to tell other people to do is structure your workday there. If you have a job that you can do remotely, a lot of the work that I do is that way. I've written articles for UGAsports.com while waiting on my car to get maintenance done, even if it's just simple oil changes, tire rotations. They just have a really good setup out there. So check in with Athens Ford. They also have a mobile vehicle service. So you can schedule them to come to you wherever you work or live in the Athens area. So athensford.com, or just head out to their lot. They have the best selection in town for new or used vehicles. And ESPN right now is showing highlights of the 1942 Orange Bowl where Georgia beat TCU. Georgia 4-0 all-time against TCU. Most recently in 2016 in the Liberty Bowl.
You know, Gary Patterson was the coach prior to Sonny Dykes, did a tremendous job taking that program and molding it. They started out in the Western Athletic Conference, I think, and then moved on into the Big 8, Big 12, and just had a really good run there for over 20 years, and it's kind of went backward the last couple. And now Coach Dykes has come in there and got a lot of his players, but also brought in some new guys. They got 18 transfers, so things have been pretty easy for the Dogs. So let's just don't start helping them. Beautiful kick. Going to miss that guy next year. He's going to be playing in the Senior Bowl, as would be several of our players. Good chance for them to show their skills to the pro scouts.
Jackpot Lesney is going to add to quite a legacy of Georgia kickers. And look at what Jake Camardo's doing right now with his leg in the NFL.
Jake kicking off and punting.
He could kick field goals if he wanted to.
Yeah, I would think Coach Dykes probably said, let's see if we can settle down a little bit and take a little pressure off Duggan. This is a good team. I mean, they're a little nervous starting out, and we took advantage of it, but they're going to threaten you.
Any differences, similarities between Riley and his brother and their strategies?
Very similar. They both came from, the Texas Tech background, and a lot of stuff we saw against Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl, that's what they do. Going deep.
Oh, he's wide open, too.
Open. Bullard's man.
Wow.
That was AWOL right there. It's like I told you. Go deep. They're going to go fast here now. That was a slot, man. Fortunately, taking time to get the call here.
So TCU's up to the 11-yard line after the big play. Now running to the 6.
We could have an injury there to Brinson.
That was a 60-yard pass dug into Darius Davis.
They ran a wheel route on us, and if we're playing man coverage, that was Bullard. If we're playing zone, it was Keeley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly.
things like that are the only way that I think that TCU really hangs in this game
Well,
from what we've seen.
They're going to play a lot better now because they were down 14-0.
That was Warren Brinson down with an injury, and he's been a guy that has emerged and played a lot of meaningful snaps for Georgia this year. Hope he's all right.
Yeah. I hurt his shoulder, although he could be down to let his defense settle down. I hope not. I hope that's what he's doing. I mean, I hope he's not hurt.
So you had Ringo, you had Bullard on that side.
So if they're playing man coverage, the slot guy has got him because one guy came in, and when he came in, Bullard went with him, and Ringo came with him. So either Ringo was staying with his man and he let his guy go, or if it's zone, Bullard stayed there. Ringo's supposed to let the first guy go and then play deep.
Yeah.
We just don't know what the call was. Ugly. That's the thing about pass defense. So, you could have 10 players playing really good and one guy messes up or missed assignment.
Well, I mean, last week we saw Georgia be the beneficiary of that with Arian Smith getting wide open.
Yeah.
For getting his defender turned around.
Yeah, his defender just fell down.
I would also fall down if I was trying to cover Arian Smith.
Arian probably might not even get back in the game after that mistake. I hope he does, but we can certainly throw deep on them. But these guys are going to really benefit from those two plays there, us not scoring a touchdown and that big one. But it's obvious we got some mismatches against their defense.
As much as that pass coverage error is a big deal, and yes, to me, TCU having a couple positive running plays here settles them in as much as anything.
Yeah, I mean, that was what we said on the get-go there when he came out and said, look, let's take the pressure off the quarterback where he's not having to make every play and settle down a little bit. And then they got, second fives running down. They throw the wheel.
Because TCU started this drive. They had 1 yard so far in the game, and then they got 4 yards up the middle on a rush with DeMercado, and then the 60-yard pass, and then another 5-yard rush from DeMercado. You get 4 or 5 yards to carry, you're going to find yourself close to the end zone.
Exactly. This is TCU kicking that field goal without a timeout against Baylor. Every team practices that to hurry up field goal, and I guess they can make a first down too. Quarterback runs are big down here.
Handoff up the gut.
Well, that was pretty good.
It's going to be about 3rd and 1 at the 2.
I would bet you a pretty substantial amount that he's going to fake it and keep it there. Where's Carter? Is he in? Okay, that guy's not playing.
Yeah, Jalen Carter.
This is quarterback keep to the left.
Quarterback keep to the left, and it's a touchdown. Look at you. I know you don't like calling them in that direction, but you got it. I mean, that's a stay in it kind of drive for TCU. And like you said, stopping Georgia to a field goal.
You just think we would know this.
That's a numbers game. Wow.
I'm 78 years old, and I knew it.
You watched a lot of ball, though.
Big drive for the Frogs.
I mean, is that on one of the defensive backs play a little tighter? Or
I think you get a down block, you can't widen there. We didn't have a gap control there. That's just an error. Guy can't be that open.
Well, usually Roddy Nabulsi is on the show with us, and usually he's pounding these Bud Light Necks because it's 0 carbs beer. And I thought, Coach, that when Roddy was at the Peach Bowl and not doing the show with us, I was thinking, well, Roddy's having to work right now. There's no way that he's enjoying his Bud Light Next. Come to find out, Roddy was up in one of the fancy suites and with some Georgia fans that are members of UGAsports.com. And he was telling me that they had Bud Light Next up there with them. So
Good.
He got to have
them.
them.
Drink a few. Drink our sponsor.
He got to have a few right up there with him, and I'm sure he'll have plenty to celebrate with. Did you see the stories of Georgia fans? By the time their airplanes got from Atlanta to about Oklahoma on the way to Los Angeles, they'd already drank all the alcohol on the planes.
Well, they have a limited amount. That might sound like it's a lot, but I'm sure hey, going out there, might as well be high up in the mountains and be high riding the plane. But this game here has made a remarkable turnaround here, and Georgia got to answer the bell because all of a sudden this Duggan thinks he can do anything.
If you are finding us, this is a second screen experience, the UGA Sports Watch Along Show with Jim Donnan. You'll see the game clock pop up on your screen. That's as we see it, and we'll update you with some stats. You put us on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, and then on your primary TV, have Georgia versus TCU here in the national championship. And while you're here, subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're the most popular one among any on the Georgia Bulldog beat. And we're really proud of the growth with that.
And if you're watching it on Facebook, share it with your friends. This is the last time you can get to see me for a long time. At least 6 months, right? When's the next game? September?
It's a big game against UT Martin.
Okay.
What do you think the spread's going to be? They probably won't do one.
I saw today Georgia's preseason #1 in about 3 polls already, but better get their ass in gear here now.
Oh, yeah. None of that matters right now.
You know, that was a second receiver there, number 11, and he was AWOL. Assignment football. I will tell you this, TCU's had a propensity for kicking the ball a little short. Our team's worked extremely hard on downfield blocking and point of attack on the kickoff, and we'll see what we do. But if he kicks it like he's been kicking it, we got a chance to bust one here.
TCU getting set to kick off here.
He'll probably knock it through the uprights. Here we go. Let's see what happens.
Caught at the 3. Up to about the 30. That's not bad.
Got caught from the backside.
Amari Carmichael with a super chat. He says Duggan can do anything until he gets hit by Jalen Carter. Jermaine King says, Dane, you and Coach should do a Masters watch along.
Yeah.
Watch us napping a little bit. I'll be at the Masters on the Thursday. First round.
All right. We got Bowers in the slot.
Fourth
screen.
4:39 here, first quarter. McConkey.
Break it. You can't line up off our receivers like that. You just can't. You got to get up in their mess kit.
Warren McClendon now in the game for Georgia. They've rotated the tackles on and off a lot this season. Yeah. With injury, it looks like
it's good to see
McConkey
get 2 catches already. You know, he had a bruised knee, and can't really see the formation. Might be we got something right there. Woo! I mean, just knocking their ass off the ball right there. That's good.
I mean, there's a visual size difference in these teams.
Let's watch the play action pass here. Don't get too greedy, but could get
3:40 left in the
These close-ups are killing me. You got another screen here if you want to throw it. Fake the screen.
and then went back to it. I guess at that point it's not screen anymore. In terms
That's
of
just real poise by Stetson Bennett. Good call by Coach Monken. The first play of the series, we ran a quick screen to 84 McConkey, and I just said, hey, we got the screen. That time we were faking the screen to try to get support and go deep, and he just showed poise and hit the underneath guy. I like that. Watch that reverse pass here.
Ladd McConkey up to 37 yards receiving, 3 catches.
We're coming out of the huddle quick here.
Deep shot.
Oh, my goodness, was he open. AWOL. Ladd, come on back, McConkey. I'm just going to say a couple dimensions of that play. The first thing was we huddled up, so they didn't really know what our formation was going to be. We had 2 backs in the game, and we put one of them in motion, so they really didn't know what we were in. And then McConkey just split the defense. Now, I saw that and thought we might have a mismatch, but I didn't think it would be that much. But just good for that kid. I mean, he hasn't been healthy, and he's finally back. And answer the phone, Stetson Bennett, man. Answer the phone. Good call by Coach Monken, too. Show us that play again on a replay and see if I was right. He had three catches on that drive, didn't he?
3 catches. The touchdown was.
See how they came out of there and had another back in the game. He's going in motion. Just really good. Now watch it. One back takes a guy over there. We got the wheel route. They think we're going to throw it to the back. I mean, whoo! I mean, this looks like some really good coaching there.
There was the national media, they do these articles where they talk to coaches anonymously and then publish their comments. And they said that some head coach in the SEC was curious how a guy like Ladd McConkey plays at Georgia.
Well, he probably hadn't been watching much tape.
Well, I can tell you Ladd McConkey's playing tonight. No other SEC team is.
He caught 4 now, hasn't he? He caught the counter pass. So he's 3 or 4. I don't know.
4 catches for 74 yards, touchdown for 37 yards.
Yeah, I told those guys at ESPN, he said, who do you need to watch tonight? I said, hey, McConkey coming off the IR. He's got a mean on right now. He's got a little buzz there under his chin, too. Been working on that for 2 years. George, you got to get him off the field here now. Giving them some help to the field here this time. A little different formation. Man, that's a good run. I will say this, in TCU's defense, they're knocking our ass off at the line of scrimmage. Do you see that pile move there?
Yep.
Not going to be easy now. You got to do your job. Should have scored that one series.
Ball at the 32-yard line. 2 minutes left in the first. I mean, they're gaining yards on the ground for sure.
Yep. Every time they run it, I'm happy. They're not going to run the ball down the field on us.
2nd and 3 for the Horned Frogs. Clock running, 1:45 left in the first.
About time to take a shot on to number 1. There's their tight end.
That's just a little tight end leak, right?
It's the way to play, Georgia. Run the ball and play action. I mean, play any team.
You see the poise of TCU because they've had every reason to lose a little belief early in this game. They kind of keep clawing back already. Minute left in the first quarter.
Hit him. Ooh.
Can't double clutch against Georgia.
He tried to do a double, what they call a deep over route with number 1 there. Quentin Johnson lined up on the left, and he's coming across the field. Watch him right there on our left. Seems coming over all the way across the field, and we had it covered. Michael Williams, true freshman from Columbus, Georgia.
Hardaway High School.
Get another one here.
2nd and 18 after the sack.
Ooh.
Ooh, Robert B almost got in that passing lane.
It's where to come up out of heat-seeking missile there.
Kamari Lassiter. So that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Georgia with a 17-7 lead. As a whole, I thought Georgia came out ready to rock.
Oh, yeah. It's one bad play, really. I mean, any way you look at it.
One bad play and then a couple penalties that just made things a little bit harder, but they overcame those.
When you look at TCU, they're not built on those low yardage plays. I mean, if everybody's watched this show for 14 weeks, Georgia can do the job when they can match up with the long yardage because they put the rushers in and they play more coverage, I mean, it's not the threat of the run or the pass. So we've had them about 3 times 3rd and long, and every time it's been good. So
I know you mentioned the possibility of a little phone call with a special guest. Is that happening?
Yeah, we're going to do that here. We're going to have some guests here tonight just to see how it's going here.
Just whoever you're calling, make sure that they know that they are live on the internet.
Oh, I don't know that.
We decided to go into the contacts here and get some live commentary from some people that everyone in college football will recognize. Let me get some stats here from that first quarter. Georgia had 8 first downs. $53 rushing yards for Georgia. 111 passing yards. Stetson Bennett stats in that first quarter. 7 out of 8 for 111 yards and a touchdown. As they say down in South Georgia, that dog will hunt. Ladd McConkey, 4 catches for 74 yards. Brock Bowers, 2 catches for 33. Dejan Edwards had 1 catch for 4 yards. Leading rusher after a quarter, Stetson Bennett, 21 yards.
Mm-hmm. Be nice to make them punt here.
1 incompletion, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
One to Darnell on 2nd and 7.
That was it.
The thing that's really critical in this game right now is it's obvious we can run the ball on them. And when we can run, then that just puts a lot of pressure on play action passes,
So offensive line shuffle a bit for TCU. Fighting through some injuries, it sounded like. 3rd and 17.
Make the tackle. Good. It's all right. We'll let them hit that.
Christopher Smith.
That guy's a good punt returner, too. You think they're going to go for it?
I don't think they will.
I would. I mean, you got the ball on our end of the field.
4th and 6. If it was 4th and 2 or 3, maybe.
Ooh, is that a? Doesn't matter. It's 4th down. I mean, go for it. That guy's one of their best players.
They are going for it. See, this is
Punt.
Oh, punt. Sorry. And caught as a fair catch at the 8-yard line. .74 Coker. Looks like he was grabbing his shoulder. So Georgia will have to drive the ball 93 yards.
We can do it.
Kendall Milton comes in the game. California native.
Ooh, he slipped.
Still got 2.5 out of it.
He's calling right now. Hello. Hey, you're in the elevator. Okay. I got to get you on the can you get this on speaker for me?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on speaker just a second.
There you go.
All right, we got Paul Finebaum here. What do you think of the game so far, Paul?
I like what I'm seeing, Coach. I was a little concerned when Duggan connected, but right now I think the trend lines are very good for the Dogs. What about you?
Yeah, hey, we missed that first opportunity. We were inside and got a field goal, but it looks like they're going to go to Bauer some more tonight early, and that's going to help us. But what's the scene out there for us? I mean, you're the number one guy in SEC. What's it look like out there with all those Georgia fans?
You know, it's interesting. I think the Georgia fans definitely control the narrative in terms of the amount of people, but I mean, there are a lot of TCU fans. I understand that. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but I can say with great authority, Coach, the Dogs are making more noise right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. And of course, we got Bowers just on fire here, first quarter and first half. But how about everybody's talking about Georgia taking over and making this move nationally. You got a feel for it. I mean, watching these guys and the way they've handled themselves. How do you feel like these kids have done with this challenge of making this a dynasty type program?
I think if this holds up, and I believe it will. We're talking about a major paradigm shift here. Every time I say this, I get blowback from traditionalists. And this is not meant as a shot at Nick Saban. This is just a reality that with the Georgia win tonight, Coach, we've seen a major shift. I mean, you saw that in your career, and others have as well. That you can't deny it. I mean, this would be the second title in 2 years. Obviously, I mean, Saban's won one in 5 years. I mean, that's not really my definition of a dynasty.
Right, and the thing that Kirby's been able to do 3 times in 6 years, get to the dance here. But, we got to go on and finish this game. But it looks like Georgia's got a size advantage. You're there. Is it that easily seen that we're that much bigger or what?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this game reminds me a little bit of a game. It was exactly 10 years ago tonight, walking on the field in Miami. I ran into an NFL executive. And he looked at me and said, "You cover Alabama?" I said, yes, sir, I do. He said, "I've never seen anything like it." He said, "I was on the Notre Dame sideline, and I came over here. I mean, this looks like an NFL team. That looks like barely a college team." And I think that's really what I detected. I mean, everybody knows what TCU has. I mean, they have 2 or 3 of the top players around, but they don't have enough. And I think one of their top players being injured tonight is a factor. And they don't have the athleticism. They've had a remarkable year, but this is exactly how I think a lot of the people like you and others saw this game going. The differential was just way too strong, and I think it really depended on the start. I think a lot of people held their breath when Georgia deferred, but
That's our style, though.
Critical decision.
That's our style. That's what we do. But we got our guy Dane, who you did our pod with. It was his idea to get you on. We know what a star power you are. Dane's going to ask you one question, but hey, just tell everybody for sure the reason you came on was because of the old coach minding your relationship, right?
Absolutely, Coach.
All right, you're the man.
Main thing I want to know, Paul, is they said they couldn't tailgate before this game. Georgia wins back-to-back titles. I don't think they're going to keep them from celebrating after the game. What's the scene going to be like after this if Georgia pulls this out?
I think there's going to be insanity, Dane. I joked on our broadcast tonight. We were talking about Nick Saban. I said, the relationship between Saban and Kirby is good, and they talked this week, and you expect that. Nick Saban, I think, cares a lot more about Kirby Smart than any other disciple. But one thing I do know for a fact, having lived in Alabama for 30 years, if this thing continues, there are going to be a lot of upset Tide fans tonight. For all the things you hear, SEC, we always vote for SEC teams, even if our team isn't playing. That's not true. Alabama fans see Georgia lose tonight because they know that Kirby, is a threat to Nick Saban, is in the process of taking over for Nick Saban.
Wow.
Hey, and Paul, one of the things that you and I talked about when Kirby was there. I mean, Pruitt did a pretty good job too, but they really haven't had the defensive prowess since Kirby left, have they?
No, I mean they haven't come close, and that's the most. I mean, Pruitt did a good job for about a year or two, and then he left, and it's been in chaos since. And I think chaos. I mean, Alabama's won a national championship in that run, but it just hasn't been the same. And I think that's a big factor, a tremendous factor.
Yeah, and you get to cover all these coaches and see everything, but week after week, you got to be impressed with the way Kirby has handled his team throughout the whole playoff. A lot, hasn't he?
Coach, I've seen a tremendous transformation from really what he was as an assistant, which he was, to really even what he is today. I think even from a year ago tonight, he's a different person. I mean, he's intense. You know that better than I do. But he understands the moment. And I watched him as he walked into the stadium tonight. People have said he's looked tight all week. Well, I would look tight too if I was coaching for a national championship.
Yeah, we're going to get one more touchdown here. All right.
Yeah, I mean, he understands the gravity of it, Coach.
Yeah, he does. And I tell you, Paul, enjoy our friendship, and it means a lot that you come. Our fans look forward to hearing from you every year, with our podcast once a year. And then this is just a little special moment for them to share with you. And sure appreciate you being on with me, buddy.
Coach, it has been my pleasure, and I'll say this as a neutral observer. Go Dogs!
All right, good. Thank you, Paul. All right, there's Georgia with about a 93-yard march. We didn't do much commentating, but that just gives you a little different perspective of the national media, particularly the Southern media there with Paul Finebaum about the way Georgia's making its move here on a national scale. And I give my partner, Dayne Young, a lot of credit. We're going to have Chris Felica on in a little while, who is the Bear. And he's going to talk about a few things for us, but just good idea there, Dane. How does our fans like that? Have they said anything to you?
I saw some people retweet it. I saw some throw in the comments here. But I do want to give us a chance because we were watching, even though we weren't giving quite the same degree of commentary. Let's run down Georgia's scoring drive from the other end of the field. I'm going to do the play-by-play on this. So Kendall Milton ran for the 2 yards to start. Stetson Bennett complete to Brock Bowers for 10. Then Stetson to Bowers for 35 yards. Kendall Milton, just a 1 yard gain up the middle. Stetson incomplete to A.D. Mitchell. Stetson ran for 12 yards. Kenny McIntosh ran to the right. Stetson Bennett then passed to Dejan Edwards. Then Dejan rushed it for 7 yards. Kenny McIntosh 12 yards to the left where he jumped over the photographers. And then Stetson Bennett for his second rushing touchdown on a 6-yard scamper. That drive started on the 8-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows it's perplexing defensively. What do you do to stop it? You just hope you get some penalties or they drop some passes. But right now, we're on fire! On fire. I mean, come on. They came out with a mean on here. I mean, defense is playing good, breaking on the ball. Offense is executing. I mean, that's hard to take the ball 98, 92 yards like that. And it's obvious we have a good game plan here based on working on those linebackers, misdirection, quarterback keeps. But you saw the athleticism on the one pass rush. The guy was unblocked, and Stetson reverse pivoted and went to the outside and made the first down on 3rd and 12. Just a tremendous run. And he's just adding to his legacy now. He got 3 touchdowns responsible for, and you just don't know what's going to happen here, but it looks pretty good for the Dogs. Let's just keep on putting the pressure on. It looks like the Oregon game to me. The only difference is they're wearing purple instead of green.
Well, we did see Georgia get a quick start over TCU. TCU came right back, made it a game. This is kind of in that same spot. We saw this with Georgia and Ohio State, where Georgia had to come back twice on down 14 points against Ohio State to win that game.
Well, they certainly have the firepower offensively to do some stuff, but I don't think they got much defense. Do you?
I haven't seen it, not yet.
I mean,
you know better than me. You're a coach. When a team drives on you 90-something yards, what's that like?
I knew that Stetson was going to be ready when they get a haircut. He likes to get that Quavius or whatever you call it haircut. Just can't get too cocky here. Let's just enjoy it here. This is a lifetime experience for you. Dogs are on fire. Don't give them anything to keep the game. In there at all. They got the thing open. We're not kicking it very deep, but we'll take it on 19.
I heard earlier that there was a bit of a factor with wind and that it was even a little bit chilly in the stadium because it's kind of a dreary day out in Los Angeles.
It's supposed to be closed, thing closed, but
I think that they have some air that can circulate. It's all covered, but especially toward the end zones.
I'm getting texts from people that I don't even know. Says your Bennett rushing and Bowers receiving prop bets have already gone. Just need McIntosh receiving now. And some people say, remember how dirty TCU is. Watch out for them doing some stuff.
Is that some of your Big 12 people?
Yeah. I said on one radio station that Bowers had been in the witness protection program. Not tonight. Like, how many touches for the big boy?
I'm updating real fast that we're in the second quarter because I was slightly distracted from Paul. How many carries for who now?
How many receiving yards for Bowers?
For Bowers?
Just give all the stats.
Sure.
There.
Brock Bowers, 4 catches for 78 yards. Ladd McConkey, 4 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. Dejan Edwards, 2 catches for 12 yards. Stetson Bennett, 10 of 12, 164 yards and a touchdown. Also 3 carries for 39 yards and 2 touchdowns. I feel more and more confident that he will for sure be over 12.5 rushing yards and not get sacked. And even if he did, he has a little room for margin.
Here's the thing about Stetson. That's the kind of stuff he can do. I mean, you saw the first run where he just kept it, and then the second run where he reverse pivoted when the guy had him on the blind side, and then the last one was just, I believe you could have run that one in.
Have you seen me run?
I've seen you run, but you're not very big, but you sure are slow.
I appreciate that. I'll take it. I can make up ground pretty quickly on a tennis court, but that's not a football field.
Yeah. So that was nice of Paul, and I hope our fans like that little deal there, get another insight into what's going on. I went out to TCU and visited them one time back in 1978, maybe, because I went to North Texas to talk to a guy about the empty formation. It's actually Bill Snyder, who was a tight end coach there for, or whatever kind of coach he was for North Texas, Mean Green, and went over to TCU. Nice campus, beautiful place. real small college, university, but private. And they got a good future with Coach Dykes there, but right now it doesn't look that great. Coming out with no backs, this could be a quarterback run.
8:26 here in the second quarter. All day. It's a run, but not a designed one.
Good job there, Carter, and just stay in the pocket. Stay in your rushing lanes there. Hey, just don't let him scramble. We had a little matchup zone there playing man under. It was good. Good job. A lot easier to play defense when you're up 24-7. At this point, one hasn't caught a pass, has he? Johnson?
And he has not, no.
Got to make the tackle. God.
They do get
I keep saying that because this guy's falling for 4 yards.
It's going to be.
Please be holding.
There is a flag.
ACC, not basketball on me.
The hand gesture, that was a weird holding. Usually you hold your own hand. He just kind of stacked his.
I mean, that guy's holding.
Oh, yeah.
Second, what? 18, 17? 15. No penalties for pass interference here. We let them catch those short.
Gonna be third and long for the Horned Frogs.
Notice the little subtleties we're doing on the pass rush. That time our defensive nose guard kind of turned his rear back and kind of cocked in there to try to give him a look where he pressured the center, where the center can't come off and help on anybody. So he was at an angle to come on him, and that's a really little subtle play by Schumann and Trey Scott to keep that center from doubling. Now we got what we call these linebackers up, and they'll probably bail out. Watch them. No, two of them came, and he's got him, but the guy got him down.
Pick.
Bullard. I can tell you this. That faked me out. I thought those two linebackers were going to get up in the line and then bail out, but both of them came in, and Dumas Johnson jumped over a guy and got in his lips. Watch him come in here. Number 10 right there on the right. He's got him just like I do. Here he comes. He comes in there, and then he dives over the guy and gets just enough to make the throw tougher. And he just airmailed that one.
Yep.
Here's the thing about that. When's the last time this kid made a one-hand catch? Goodness gracious, Bullard.
Milledgeville.
2 turnovers Dogs got so far. Now, are we going to run that hockey play where we run a double reverse pass? Maybe not now. Just play it pretty basic.
Bowers.
I mean, go to your horse, man.
I thought that could have been a first down. It was. Okay. At first,
I
it took
just
the
assumed
second
been
down.
second and an inch. Riley need to go over and talk to his brother. We're checking off here. Nine yards on first down. Got some people up in Huntington, West Virginia there, across the river there. Jackie Hutchinson and Jeff, my old secretary's daughter, listening to us on up in Huntington. That's good. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.
Go Herd. Say good. Proud of Jackie and Jeff. Got a good family and comes from good stock there. Edna, Justice, and John. Just terrible blocking right there. We got beat at the point of attack so bad.
So set up 3rd and about 2 after the 1-yard loss.
Woo!
Tell me what you see.
Well, Van Pran, no hitter.
Whiff.
Arian, come on. You had a chance for a touchdown. You can't go down that easy. Good call by Monken there. Get the ball to these fast guys.
So you had Arian on a little quick flip screen with Bowers as the lead blocker. Four minutes left in the second
I like
quarter.
to see us get a little more tempo here. I think we're letting these guys get set too much. About time to hit Washington.
You talk about falling forward.
That was tremendous blocking there.
McIntosh fell forward for about 6 yards.
So much for that 3-5 defense at this point. Need to finish this drive here. Look at Washington. Boom. Bowers downfield. Pretty decent hole, wasn't it?
All right. You said earlier my running ability. I could run through that hole. I feel confident in that. Kenny Mack.
Kenny doing some good running there. That's a good job on the counter.
Was that a fake toss of some kind?
No, it was a little fake to ran the counter. Got to be a holding penalty here, probably.
Darnell Washington gets called for the holding penalty.
Yeah. That's holding. Takedown. Glad to see him in the game. Just don't hold. We need to get a touchdown here, not a field goal. What are we on, about the 35? 40.
Dejan Edwards gets about 5.
You know, what's good about this whole quarter is the way we've kept the ball away from them on top of everything. You know, time of possession. We had that long march from the 8-yard line, and then this one here. I mean, hard to score when you're not on the field.
Georgia's around 13 and a half minutes possession.
Kirby's probably telling them to slow it down. Hit Bowers on a wheel route.
Over the top. McConkey.
You got 1 foot in.
Oh, we may have a review on our hands. Hell of a catch anyway, even if he is out of bounds.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Nope, he didn't. Too bad.
He's such a good football player.
God, gnat's ass. That was a gnat's ass right there. That is small. Let's get half of it here where he can go for it.
3rd and 15. Rosemary Jackson, Kyrus Jackson, Brock Bowers, A.D. Mitchell, your receivers.
They're going to try to play 3-man rush here. I tell you, that guy's a stallion. He's not only a stud, he's a stallion. Third and forever, and he just stuck it in there like a needle. Watch his throw. This is a walk-on quarterback that has a pop gun arm. Dedicate that to Mike Griffith.
Wow.
I mean, come on. Mike's does a good job, but I got on him when he was saying that when he first started playing. I said, this guy's got a good arm.
I mean, that kind of throw will get you employed in the NFL.
Yeah. He's going to make some team. See some of these guy's playing now. I mean, he's too smart. Take it easy on them over there, Kirby. They made a mistake and didn't get to play. Now let's let them rest a little bit.
Georgia calls the timeout at 1:41 with a 24-7
Give me
lead.
Bowers right now. Is he over 100?
Brock Bowers, 5 catches for 102 yards.
And 2 runs for what?
2 runs for 15 yards. If there's a piece of the betting action that may be in trouble, it might end up being the over if TCU doesn't score any points.
Was it 62?
62.
We got 31.
We have 24 and a score again to get to 31.
You got to keep scoring, though. It's hard to score, beat the 12-point line, but I don't see them scoring a lot unless we just give them. At this point, Johnson hadn't caught a pass, right?
He has not. Well, he has 1 for 3 yards.
Oh, that screen. Right now, Kirby's saying, don't score quick. Run the clock down. How many plays do they actually run first half? TCU.
Total plays 21 for TCU, 33 for Georgia.
Not many.
120 yards.
What do we got?
320.
So, once again, thanks to Yancey Brothers, Athens Ford,
Bud Light Next.
Leon Farmer. The thing want to make sure you know, if you go onto that, what's the website for Yancey Brothers that you need some kind of future job, and they'll train you. They'll send you to college for exactly what you need to do for specific. And everything I've ever done, been involved with Caterpillar, just a first-class organization from the top down. When I was at Marshall, Walker Brothers Machinery up there sponsored my TV show, and I got a chance to go over there and deal with Caterpillar on a national. I spoke at one of their national conventions, just class, and then got to meet these guys down here. I mean, I'll give them my stamp of approval. I mean, they're going to do what they can to make you reach your potential as an employee.
Really easy. Just Yancey Brothers, YANCEY, Bros, BROS.com/dogs. YanceyBros.com/dogs. And that's where you can find your new career. Yancey's been serving Georgia since 1914.
They need some technicians is what they need. They need guys that can, or ladies that can go out and, service all the different equipment they got, and they'll teach you how to do it. Here's Georgia going to come out quick here and run a quick play here. I like it. We got the edge. Show some speed. Attaboy. Very good call there on first down. When I say they're going to come out and run the play quickly, is so you can't really diagnose what formation they're in. We were in an unbalanced line there with an extra guy, and we got the edge. You see that, Dane? We got the edge because they didn't adjust. Georgia looking at the wristbands. Everybody's got a number on the wristband, and whatever the number is, you look at it, and it might be red Ohio or blue November or whatever the call is. Everybody knows what it is by looking at the wristband.
Kendall Milton is going to be just shy, about the 1 yard line. But it is a first down.
I can see if I'm TCU, I'd be calling timeouts here. Well, that's a great run by Kendall. Give it to him again. We're going to take as long as we can here. I bet you it's 28 seconds before we come out of the huddle. No, the TCU did call a timeout. Hey, they're smarter than I thought they were.
I don't think you get to this game, and I don't think you coach as long as Coach Dykes has and not know when you should call your timeouts.
Yeah. Well, Lincoln Riley needs to watch him a little bit because they didn't use him against Utah in that game they lost on the road, and they didn't have any time left at the end of the game. But Lincoln's done a good job. He just got to get some defense. But, man, that was a tough loss to Tulane, but they got what they deserved.
I'm really happy that someone like Sonny Dykes is having this season, his connection to Mike Leach and what Mike Leach meant to the sport, just heartbreaking, his death. And I've always been a fan of his, and then the influence he's had in college football. So seeing people that have coached with him or he's influenced.
Right. When you look at right there on the staff right there, you got Coach Dykes, and then Lincoln Riley's brother actually got the coordinator of the year. I don't know how he beat Munkin out, but he did the Broyles Award for the top assistant coach.
Probably the same way that Michigan got the Joe Moore Award for offensive line.
Yeah, well, whoever gave it to him, but hey, I'm just saying right now, I don't know what you're going to say at halftime if you're Kirby, but he's going to have to really get on their ass to keep their focus, man, because this is ugly right now. We haven't punted yet, which that worried me, punting the ball to that guy. That's the best way to work against a punt returner, is not ever punt.
A few times this season, I think we've gotten well into games and said, well, Georgia hasn't punted yet. Brett Thorson came all the way from Australia, and he's gotten a great view of a lot of football.
Yeah, can you imagine him out there all the way from Australia, coming out there and press days? That's really the first time he's been interviewed, I think. All the team got out there last week and this week. What do you say, mate? I've been playing a little rugby, but if he doesn't do anything the rest of his life, that kick he did against Tennessee for 70-some yards was a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Then subsequently we got the sack in the end zone, and then the short kick. How about McConkey tonight on fire?
And I've been telling people for weeks, and I think everyone has, he is playing injured. He is a tough guy. I know he's gotten a little healthier in the lead of having more time between games has been helpful.
But when they do these interviews with these people, they couldn't look at the film and say things like they do about some of these players, because the double moves he made, the way he elevated to catch that ball, the counter pass jumping up, and there's ESPN's head man, and I guess they're giving some money to the extra yard for teachers. Good. All of you that are out there, teachers, can't say enough about you. That's a tough profession, and we can't do without you.
One and a little extra is what Georgia needs here.
Get on your knee 2 times and make them use their timeouts. Kendall Milton scored a touchdown in Cali for me, going over right guard.
Yep.
All right, he did it right there in his hometown.
California.
Good kid right there. He's made a statement he's coming back.
He'll be a feature back for Georgia next season. I was texting you about this, I think, earlier in the week.
Look at that mash right there. Look at all those guys on the ground. Physical wreck. Go ahead. What was that?
Having Milton and then another year of growth from Branson Robinson. You find me a team in the country that got 2 bruisers like that.
Yeah, that's good. And then you got, Edwards continues to make the plays.
Well, I think they'll have, and I think Andrew Paul has a lot of potential from.
Oh yeah, he does. He was really looked good in fall camp and sustained a ACL injury, but he's really worked hard. Some of the time when I go over to the facility and get some treatment myself, at my age, I got to get a little treatment. But you see those kids in a relaxed atmosphere sometime when they're not being coached, and Paul was rehabbing his leg, after this. So I got a chance to talk to him and told him that, I knew a lot about him because of my relationship in Oklahoma. And we talked about some of his friends that were going to OU and all. And he was very happy with the way his knee was progressing and the way he's gone through the rehab. And just you could just tell he's a confident young man, and he's going to be all right.
He'll be full go for spring, right? Or close to it.
He should be, but I don't think you take advantage. Take a chance on him. Let him get those 3 extra months. He could probably do the non-contact drills, and basically you could maybe let him go. But I think you'd be careful. let's be careful here and don't give them anything. Or be nice to get a turnover. That's the way to kick it. Tackle him on the 5. Oh, you had a chance, Sherman.
To the
They're
15,
holding
to the 20.
How about that? We got Keely Ringo on the kickoff team.
Lump Dog says, Coach, we heard you say, what does Kirby Smart say to his team at the half? What about Sonny Dykes? What do you say to your team when you're down this way?
Our Father, who art in heaven. There's a Nick Tater. I bet he's not liking this.
I mean, before the game, Nick Saban was sounding pretty darn confident that something like this would happen.
Yeah, he's going to take a lemon, make lemonade out of it. He's going to take credit for Kirby. What he does, he should. He helped Kirby out.
1:12 left here in the second quarter.
They probably run the ball first play. Hit him.
Not much of a gain there.
Kirby showed me something. He called a timeout there. He will if it don't make it here. Stet Quavius getting a little oxygen over there. Pick. We got a blitz on here. Oh,
sack.
Timeout, Kirby. Timeout.
Bear Alexander.
Timeout. Wouldn't you call timeout here?
It sounds like you did.
Okay. Bear. There's a freshman.
He'll be among the featured guys.
Watch the guy coming off the edge here, too. That helps you because it makes the. But how about Carter just throwing guys around back there?
So, based on the way that Week 18 ended in the NFL, Jalen Carter may have a legitimate shot at that number 1 pick because the Chicago Bears don't necessarily need a quarterback because Justin Fields looked pretty darn good this year.
Yeah, he does. Bear Alexander. Kirby got on his ass at the game last week because he lit up a cigar in the dressing room. You know, he said it's okay when we win the championship like the SEC, but we got one more week. And Kirby lowered the boom on these guys. Hey, we got to play better and play up to our potential. Which that's what he's going to say at halftime. Here is, look, we got to keep the hammer down. We get the ball first too. If they punted here and we get any kind of field position, we got a chance. We're in a dime situation here. 4-man rush.
3rd and 18.
Oh, pick for Bullard. He's got 2. Nice timeout, Kirby. Javon Bullard showed me more on pass coverage tonight than he's done his whole career. He got the player of the game in the last game, and now he's going to get it again. And he got his ass beat on the first one.
He's trying to get a statue in Milledgeville right now after the Marvin Harrison hit last week. And then
this is just a really good defense here. He's playing inside technique on this guy, knowing he's going to have to break to the outside. Now he just breaks on the ball. We had 2 guys on it. Gringo knocks him down. Oh, that's Lassiter.
Lassiter over there.
We were playing just regular zone defense. You get that savage, baby. We still got 2 timeouts here in 36 seconds.
1 timeout.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You love to tell me I'm wrong.
I do, because it doesn't happen as much. Oh.
I hate to throw over the middle in the red zone.
Just too much danger?
Yeah. We just got to be careful here and don't get greedy. We got some screens. Didn't lead him quite enough.
Second down for Georgia. 31-7 lead. Bowers in there.
Like to see a screen. You got watch out for 8 on a banana route here. 8. How about,
is that a one-arm catch from AD? It
yes,
is.
Sir.
Well, it's not a national championship unless AD Mitchell has a catch, right? A touchdown catch.
You know, it's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that some people said that Stetson Bennett couldn't start for anybody in the SEC. Look at that catch and throw. Simultaneous catch. You got it. I mean, great coaching by Kirby to get that last 38-7. Are you kidding me? Is that what it is?
It's about to be 37-7 with the extra point pending.
We got one more timeout. Maybe we can get them. It's a nightmare for TCU, I know, but Georgia's just definitely better, but really done a good coaching job too.
You see what I mean about that cover, though, being in jeopardy? If it just all slows down in the second half?
They're not going to slow down. Who put some of those other guys in?
Coronation for Georgia.
What's stat tonight now? 2 touchdown passes, 2 run.
Stetson Bennett, 13 of 17 for 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rushing 39 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He's not going to get over 300 tonight. They could probably put back in there.
If there's a player that deserved a stress-free second half to the final game of his career, it's Stetson Bennett. For what he has gone through to get to this point, to this stage.
We're going to go take Bullet in there and get him some Gatorade.
It's Connor Norman, former Georgia safety.
I think his shoulder might be hurt.
Game of his life already.
Yeah, hey, rest up. Don't go to sleep on a kickoff return.
Is that Ryan Davis that made that tackle?
Oh, man.
I mean, I think we thought, I'll speak for myself. I thought Georgia would win this game. I thought Georgia would win this game comfortably. I didn't see them coming out and doing this. This is a manhandling. Dejan Edwards down on the ground. Shout out to Ron Corson and his team.
I got people texting me from I hadn't heard from since Caesar went over to Rubicon. I didn't even know they had my number.
The people that I'm really happy for on nights like tonight, you're one of them, Coach, but people like Ron Corson, people like Claude Felton, just the institutions around Georgia that have just been a part of it forever. And they make the machine go.
Well, just like this trip, it just doesn't happen. You got to take your whole team out there. Nealon Raper and his staff of football ops do a tremendous job of pre-planning. Just who's going to sit where on the plane. We take a bigger plane so the players can have a seat in between them, and then the bigger guys can be up there in the comfort and first class and that lay down. For Kirby did a lot of research and felt that going out there after practice on Friday was going to tax us a little bit. So we went out there and then got off the plane and then went and had a regular practice, just more conditioning, and then had the regular Thursday practice on Saturday. And then yesterday was Friday and today's Saturday. But, they're going to run the ball here if they got to.
Jermaine King with a super chat, and he says, guys, there's only one question left. And that's, will Cash Jones get a touchdown in the national championship?
Cash got a hurt ankle. He got hurt, broke his ankle at practice. I hate to tell you that, but he did.
Bummer. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's going to be even better, too. 38 and out the gate. That's it. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Halftime.
Stay with us for the second half. We'll entertain you. We'll give you some stuff that you don't hear on TV.
Sounds like we'll have another guest as well.
Yeah, we got just to let you know, we got Chris Felica, the bear, moving over to Fox from ESPN, but he's going to tell us about all these bets that you should have taken tonight. Georgia, just go in there.
Well, we had things go about as bad as they could go in the first half. Like exactly what we talked
Sonny
about.
Dykes talking.
3 times, gave up a bunch of big plays. We just got to get settled in. It seemed like a little bit early. Maybe our guys were a little bit wide-eyed, and just got to settle in and play football. We're making uncharacteristic mistakes, and we get some momentum in the second half, and we get back in this game.
All right, thank you, Coach. Holly.
A good song.
You wanted aggression in the first half. What did you get?
We were aggressive, but 60-minute game. We have not had our best moments in the third quarter, and they have. So we got to challenge our team to come out, play really physical, and play aggressive.
Thank you, Coach.
You didn't think he was going to say, hey,
You get that song for Coach Dykes. Do you believe in magic?
Kirby had that third quarter line.
He was ready for it. He was ready. But hey, stranger things have happened. I mean, they could come back and make it interesting, but I just don't. As long as we keep running these running plays at them and play action, it's just hard to play that defense if you're worried about both of them. You know what I mean? If you got a team off kilter and you can pressure them a little bit. We got one pressure the whole first half, and when he got it, he rolled out. So
we have a super chat here from Marvin Babb. A question for you, Coach.
Who?
Marvin Babb.
Okay, good. Marvin, let's hear it.
Says, what does a performance like this do for recruiting?
Well, it's just amazing what it can do. It opens some doors. Some people that might have, particularly 9th, 10th, 11th graders, saying, God, I'd like to play for that team. Because the ones in 11th, 12th are already pretty much sewed up. But a quarterback like Friola, is that how you pronounce it?
Dylan Raiola?
Dylan Raiola, excuse me, who's at the game tonight from Phoenix area, has got to think, hey, Stetson Bennett's leaving. Look at the way they move the ball around and got a good running game. And hopefully we got another quarterback committed. But the biggest thing is just exposure. You're getting this. Every college football fan in America is watching this game tonight, or was watching it. Now they'll probably go watch some reruns of As the World Turns or something. But it's just a good question. It just, when you go in a house like 2 years from now, Kirby Smart, and that guy said, Coach, I watched that national championship game, and once I saw it, I knew I wanted to be a Georgia Bulldog. Or you see the kids in the state that grow up as a Georgia fan, it just reinforces it that all of a sudden, hey, when I was 8 and 9 years old, Georgia won the national championship 2 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? That's a lifetime memory. Because everybody's saying, hey, I was in college when Herschel won it. Now it's the same thing with these people. And it's just overwhelming the dominance we've had, except for the one game against the Ohio State Buckeyes, who came perilously close to beating us. But
Adam Hicks with a super chat says, hey, Coach, who's that coming down the tracks?
I like it. That's good I don't know who it is, but it's pretty much a wide open boy.
I think they say a mean machine that's red and black.
That's right.
All right, so what we're going to do, we'll take a halftime break here, and we will come back and have some fun here for the third quarter of the national championship. You can leave this feed up. That's fine. I'm just going to pull up a stat sheet here. This is the UGA Sports Watch Along Show with Jim Donnan, Georgia, with a 38-7 first half lead. And our show is brought to you by Yancey Brothers, Bud Light Next, and Athens Ford. We'll see you for the third quarter. Stay with us, and thanks for watching the UGA Sports Watch Along Show.
Zero carbs beer is here. Introducing Bud Light Next. 0 carbs, 80 calories. Super crisp light beer. Bud Light Next. Brewed for what's next.
Welcome back to the second half of the UGA Sports Watch Along Show. I'm Dayne Young. That's the head coach, Jim Donnan. We are excited to have some fun here. I think we're going to have to pull out the Elvis and the songs and everything else, maybe some jokes for 38-7. Quite a half for Georgia. All I know, Coach, is that the most popular baby name in the state of Georgia for quite a while now is probably going to be Bennett.
Probably either that or Stetson one or Stetquavius.
I just figured Bennett could probably be a girl's
Bennett's
name
a good,
too.
yeah, it could be. But boy, when on the big stage, he's in Hollywood. I mean, he's been stronger than Ajax. He just really good. We got a little lightning coming in there, and I guess they're going to show some things about.
I think this is a Mercedes-Benz thing, right? I'm giving some free advertising to. They did this at the Peach Bowl too, where it was just some kind of little hokey ad, and somehow Shadur Sanders was involved in it.
Oh, we got to find out what's going on with Bullard.
2 interceptions for Bullard in that first half.
Plus, he rushed the passer great one time too.
Max Duggan 8 for 12, 2 interceptions, 97 yards.
They're gonna get some garbage, but be a good chance to see some of these younger guys. But I don't think we're gonna pull off the horses to the third quarters over myself. We've just played poorly in the third quarter, a couple games this year, and the other team has played better. So right now, these people are just. If you're TCU fan, you're thinking, "Good Lord, it was nice to get here." And the Georgia fan, you're thinking, "What else can we do?" But hope they had a good halftime show.
Well, you need another 18 points for the cover if you have some skin in the game in that world.
For over?
For the over.
Yeah, I think most people probably took Georgia minus 12 or 13. But here's the thing, though. Any way you look at it, it's just like just a good-looking team. I mean, the way we're executing, we've had a couple penalties, but all in all, the pressure of the moment didn't bother us, and it bothered TCU. And our guys have been there. There's no question that they know what's going on. We get to return this kickoff here, and we were close on the last one. We did a right return. We might go starting to the right this time and go back to the left. Let's see if we do that, okay? That's what I would do. That's what I would do.
Kick is away.
I wouldn't do anything when it goes out of the end zone, huh? Definitely the little breeze going that way. Thing you got to do, Stetson, is keep the hammer down here. Don't give them anything easy. And here we go. Already starting the second half. Get a mean on here.
Starting with Kenny McIntosh.
Good blocking there. Glad to see Darnell in there.
You know, Coach, I did confirm earlier in the week that there is yet another bottle of Pappy Van Winkle awaiting Stetson Bennett should Georgia win the national championship.
You think he'd get after that?
I think he will, and if I'm Good Morning America, I'd love to have him on the show again tomorrow.
Was he on last time?
He was on last time. If Leland Barrow found a way to get him in front of the camera. He looked like he had won a national title.
We don't have enough blockers right there. That was not a very good play. If you think somebody's going to get a little juice here, if they get us 3 and out. Let's have a quarterback run here, Coach.
I still have it up as halftime on here. We're in the third quarter.
We're going empty. By that, no backs. No Kenny McIntosh on a post. Screen to him. Shit. Run the ball there.
We talk about players having to stay aggressive in these moments. Do you ever have, as a play caller, have to kind of tell yourself, hey, don't worry about the scoreboard, just call your game?
Right. But to me, that looked just like Ohio State, 2 runs and a pass. Really, we had 3rd and 3. We hadn't stopped us yet. Here's the first punt. Let's see what we do. This scares me to death. This guy is great. We could kick it out of bounds here.
Good punt for the Aussie. Oh, I was following the camera, not the ball. There is a penalty.
So we should be offside on them. Good kick.
Let's check that penalty.
There's Thorson. Maybe they had 12 men on the field. Somebody call it. Terrible first series for us. Didn't look like the same team there as far as jumping out, did we?
No.
Just very passive. Of course, I can understand why. If you're TCU, you got to establish some kind of run game and can't get behind the sticks as much. Looks like Tyke Smith's in for Bullard. Maybe Bullard hurt.
Nazir Stackhouse is a guy that deserves all the praise in the world.
Yeah, he's a good player. They're going to make some plays. I can guarantee you that. They're just too good. Watch them going deep. We got the pressure on here. We got Bill dropping off in the flat there.
Georgia with a 38-7 lead. Third quarter. 12 and a half minutes. 3rd and 5 for the Horned Frogs.
Good coverage. Tyke on their best receiver. When we talk about Tyke Smith, the transfer from West Virginia last year, tore his ACL the first middle of the camp almost, and is a real good defender, not a real good tackler. He's gotten better, but he's really improved with coaching, and that's a good position there. And, Bullard must have hurt his shoulder.
All the talk about Georgia's defensive backs, and other than one play in this game, they played really well.
Yeah, they accepted the challenge, and they really practiced hard on technique. And, Georgia, you can't keep screwing around here, and let's go. No, I mean, I'm not being hard on them, but that's the first 3 and out we've had, isn't it? The first punt.
Brett Thorson has not been needed before that. Let's update the stats of where Georgia is so far in this game. Stetson Bennett, 13 of 18, 2 touchdowns, 213 yards. Brock Bowers, 5 catches for 102 yards. Ladd McConkey, 4 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. A.D. Mitchell has a catch for 22 yards, the touchdown. Dejan Edwards, 2 catches for 12 yards, and Arian Smith has the 1 catch for 3. Rushing-wise, Kenny McIntosh leads the way with 50 yards, Stetson Bennett 39 and the 2 touchdowns, Kendall Milton 25 and a touchdown, 19 for Dejan Edwards, and 15 for Brock Bowers. Just the breakdown of those, Georgia has 148 rushing yards, 213 passing yards. Really balanced attack.
Yeah. So
you really see how Georgia's offense is maximized when the quarterback is running and confident in running.
So Bullard's out for the rest of the game. He hurt his shoulder. The play before he made the pick, he hurt it, and then but he's out. So do you want to put that on text or something, or on a tweet, or what do you tell Roddy, or what do you want to do?
I'll do my thing over here since we're breaking news on.
Well, I don't make it too big because I mean, somebody in the stands told me that one.
Well, we'll get it confirmed and go from there.
Yeah, it's confirmed. Don't say how you got hurt, okay?
Yeah.
ESPN showed him walking in with his shoulder. You saw that, didn't you?
Yeah. Career game for Javon Bullard. He had the mistake, but comes back with 2 picks.
And we've never been good at throwing a slant. You know, it's either behind the guy or he drops it or going to run to the left.
Brock, look at Darnell Washington just pushing a shopping cart out there.
What I liked there was Stetson just taking the easy throw. And I said we're going to run to the left, but that's what we did. But did you see Bowers look like he was going to run the counter and then do a whirly and come back? It's like a running back. Go at the Washington. Great run. How long was that pass to? Like 20 yards?
28.
He might make 280. Face mask. God, how can you miss that call?
$11:08 left here.
Love to show the sidelines. Won't let me see the formation. Come on, run with it.
Dejan.
I don't like throwing the ball to him compared to those other backs. He's a good runner, but you can't drop a ball like that. Put him on the move here, Buck. Put him on the move. Run it twice, you make a first down. Blitz. Good Lord, what a player.
That guy. And good on Stetson for seeing it. Under duress. Wow.
Kelly.
You don't want a one-on-one matchup with that guy.
Fantastic.
Extra point pending. And good. So now we're up to 52 total points. I was really impressed as I was coming to meet you. I drove by Stegman Coliseum where students, today the first day of classes on campus at Georgia, line out the door, down the street, going toward the Carlton Street parking deck and Foley Field. I mean, students came back with a fury, and I know there were a lot of people that drove to Athens tonight just to be able to be downtown and part of that energy. So
Yeah, you just don't know how fired up they're going to be after this ass whipping. I mean, there wasn't any doubt. I mean, but I hope they are. I mean, you just don't want to take this for granted. I mean, just a brilliant tactical, the way we've attacked this defense too. I mean, just really unbelievable execution. What is he like now? He had the one drop. It was like 16 out of 21 or something.
15 out of 21. Come on, Coach.
For what?
3 touchdowns, 263 yards.
Yeah, he needs one more.
152 of those to Brock Bowers. I think you nailed it, Coach, when you said this feels and looks a lot like that Oregon game, except they're wearing purple.
Right.
Because this is that kind of domination.
Yep. We'll call the number one guy in America here. Hello? Can you hear me? See if you can. Hey, Chris. All right. I got to get you on the speaker here.
What's that speaker?
Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
All right. Hey, we got the number one playmaker in America, Chris. What do you think of this spread here, man? Bear Felica. Hey,
it's every bit of a blowout. Well, I shouldn't say that. I didn't expect the game to be very close, and Georgia's execution certainly has made me corrected that even I think more so than anyone could have imagined. I was talking to before the game about how it kind of felt like Georgia had their exhale moment against Ohio State in a game that they very easily could have lost. And tonight was going to be a coronation, and it's certainly been that way. But however, I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a lot like the Tennessee game, where it was just going to kind of be that slow, methodical beating, and it would be an under type of game. But it does not appear like the Bulldogs are taking their foot off the gas anytime soon here.
Well, a couple years ago when you came over here to the Auburn game and Stetson was playing really kind of the first big picture game, and you and I went out to eat, and I told you this guy is really pretty good, and you said you thought the same, but people really haven't on a national scale realized how good this guy is until when he sees him play in these big games. But he really got the velocity and the moxie. It's really unbelievable, isn't it?
It is, and it's so funny how jaded people are, and I'm sure a lot of them are just other SEC fans and whoever else are just being bitter like Twitter is. Like, I just put a tweet out there about just how Stetson Bennett represents everything that's good about college football and the sport, and how he believed in himself and he went out and proved everybody wrong. And it's just an awesome way for him to end his career. And of course, you get the wise aleck like, oh yeah, well, he's 26, he's older than this guy. So what? Cares how old he is. He's going out. He's
right.
Playing great, and he's got a bunch of talent around him. And he didn't quit. He went to and he's living his dream right now. He's gonna go out as a 2-time national champion and be I mean, you tell me, because you coach there, you live there. Like where does he go down in the annals?
He's got to go right up there with Herschel.
Man?
He got to be right there with Herschel now, just because of the way he's played in big games. I mean, you look at Michigan last year, Alabama last week, and now this. And but the collection of players that Georgia has, and you were here again this year for on campus, and we look forward to. I guess with Fox, I don't know where you're going to be, but you're always welcome in here, man, because all the Georgia people know that you going to give everybody based on what the performance is. But let's just talk a little bit about the perception of how much Kirby's mantra has grown coaching wise over the last couple of years, because he took some bad licks there after that fake punt against Alabama, but the national people now, you go to these meetings and all, he's really in charge, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he is, and I think it's funny. And Kirk has even alluded to it as well. Whereas, like, you have that whole chant, "We want Bama, we want Bama." Well, you know what? You need to change the chant now to "We want Georgia," because you're looking at a team now that's won 2 consecutive national titles, and it doesn't look like they're going to slow down anytime soon. Who knows what the quarterback position is going to be like next year? But they're going to be probably better talent-wise outside of that position everywhere else on the field.
Yeah, we really are. We really are. And
right, though, just getting back to Kirby, like he had a little bit of a reputation of not necessarily being the best in-game coach, and he could recruit. And I'm happy to see him finally break that perception, because it's clear he gets the players to play for him. He's a great motivator. He's found edges. He's found a way to bring in assistants to help mold his staff, to help make him a better coach. And boy, I love seeing guys succeed at the level he is, especially at their alma mater, and someone who just seems to get it. He gets it in terms of, and I think maybe working under Nick probably helped give him the wherewithal. In terms of just, when I was at ESPN, now, he gets it. He gives access. He talks to people. He's not hiding no players' interviews are all like. He understands that the show like College Game Day is an infomercial for his program, and
right.
I think that probably has a lot to do with why he's getting Brock Bowers from California, and they're not just a Southeast recruiting base; they are a national recruiting base, and this performance tonight is going to make that even more so.
And you see the access he gives to you guys when you come in and do those. He's always. A lot of those guys don't show up when they're on campus, and he comes over there every time, right?
Yep, absolutely. And it's just kind of like this. When and where do you want me? We got to kick it. We got to kick it at 3:30. Okay, I'll be there at 11:30. We'll be good before we. He knows the value of being seen and delivering his message and getting the recognition and the publicity of his program out there.
Yeah, that's good. And hey, well, we're going to go back to our program here, and I knew you would. We really appreciate you coming on with us, and we're going to have you on for another podcast before the season. Our fans really love hearing from you, Bear. And
I love anytime I can talk with you. I value it and treasure it and enjoy it. I mean, I love you as a friend.
Exactly.
And, anytime you need me, I'm here for you, bud.
Okay, thanks. Good night. See you.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
Chris
All right,
Felica.
That was good for Bear to. And the reason Dane came up with the idea, I just think it's good to see from our standpoint. We have a tendency to, sugarcoat everything and talk about how good they're, but these are guys on a national scale, and they're around here, and they see the practices and the development. But I think the number one thing for Georgia right now is losing 15 players like we did to the pros, 13 to the transfer. That's 28 guys. We brought in no new players except freshmen, no transfers, and to look that you're going to win 15 straight games with a new team, basically new offensive line, new defensive line, new secondary, have a lot of receivers back and some of the backs, but new punter, 4 new coaches, just flip it out. But We had some good sponsors too. We don't want to take away from them when we had Bear on there, but certainly Athens Ford, all the stuff they're doing. Tell us about them, Dane.
Well, I mean, they just have the best vehicle selection in Athens, whether it's used vehicles or new vehicles, or if you just need to get maintenance done on yours. I've heard of a lot of people that'll do some custom orders over at Athens Ford and get some of a new Bronco or maybe an Explorer kind of souped out the way that you like it. And they can definitely do that for you in the customization department over at Athens Ford. AthensFord.com is where you can check out what they have going on. A lot of our commenters, Coach, one, they're saying, thanks for bringing in these outside pros. We really love it. But two, Bear Alexander made a tackle there, a sack.
Yeah,
while the Bear was on the phone, so they're crediting you for that one. Amari Carmichael, biggest super chat in the history of the program. He says, thanks for everything. Thank you, Amari. You watch religiously.
Amari, thank you.
It just
really, where did that punt end? I was talking to Bear. Where's the ball now?
Let's see.
Maybe we get some questions here.
UGA 16-yard line.
Get some questions.
If you have questions for us, let us know. If you want to talk about future stuff, I guess we could, although I'd prefer to really
Let's get this quarter over. I think we score again. I think you might get a curtain call for Stetson Bennett. But
Jermaine King with another super chat says, call Eric Ainge next. Let's see how he's doing.
Eric Ainge, that's pretty funny. He said that he's never done anything like this guy. And we're missing Uga. Uga couldn't make the trip. I can understand. That's a tough trip for your Bulldog to go all the way out there. I know the first time we had a trip, they told I was putting our players in first class, and they said, well, you got to save one of these seats for Uga. They were putting Uga up there in first class. So I knew where my team stood right there. Uga up there he didn't smell very good either.
Uga has that hotel suite over at the Georgia Center. 7:34 left in the
third.
Got
this one blocked.
Dejan Edwards, first down and more.
Very nice motion there with the lead blocker. Talk about that 3-3-5 defense. You've got to have somebody at the point of attack to come get one of those rushers that's coming from the other side. And wherever it might be, and that's what we've done throughout the game.
There's a piece of this that you mentioned a moment ago I want to go back to. In this victory, Georgia's doing probably the two most difficult things to do in this sport. One, back-to-back championships. There's a ton of great football teams and programs that really struggle to come back.
Watch this play here. We might go deep to Big O.
McConkey. But the other thing, winning every game you play.
Hard to do.
I mean,
nope.
Even some of those great Alabama teams usually stumbled along the way somewhere. Was it only one or two of them, I think, went undefeated?
Yeah, I'd like to see throw a deep ball at Arian Smith or somebody. Just go over 280.
Dylan Bell back to the sideline.
There's Arian in the middle. This could be it. Deep ball to Arian.
There it is.
Oh!
In his hands.
Good call, Donnan. You made me look bad, man. I had the call, though. Oh, he should have had that. Good throw.
Put it right where it needed to be.
A lot of people like that one for the over 280. Good play by the DB, though.
Kirby wanted it.
Good play by the DB. He should have kept going on across. Give him a little love. Good Lord, AD. Can you see when he's don't get a penalty there? Is that face mask or what? He didn't complete that?
I guess it hit the turf. This will be the best angle to see.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell from that first.
We'll take the 15.
Yeah, I'd say that's pass interference.
Just not one of our best throws, those inside breaking the underneath routes. Got to work on that. That Hodges guy was the number 1 DB in the country. I got a feeling he's going to let Stetson keep one in a minute. Just one more walk in. When he gets his hand shaking like that, you got to watch out. This could be ugly. Wristband number 36. Give me the formation. And we got Edwards in there. We're not going to throw the wheel route to him. Post to Bowers, maybe. Tried to trick him. Using a lot of clock. Stetson's mother?
Yeah, that was Denise Bennett in the stands wearing the mailman hat.
Is he the mailman or the milkman now?
Yeah, he's had the commercial for the milk, but he's still
Get
the
some
mailman.
camera work. Oh, Big O. Ooh, I wish he'd have jumped out. That's over 280 there, isn't it? 20-yard pass.
28 yards, Darnell there.
Just really good.
291.
What a zipper.
Darnell's really gotten better in the receiving part of his game. He's always been a good blocker, but just a really good year for him. I think he's got some first-round potential.
Oh, he does. We got 4 first-rounders, maybe. We'll talk about that. Stay with your friends. So we got Carter, who might be the number 1 guy picked. You got Keely Ringo, who helped himself tonight. You got Nolan Smith. You got Broderick Jones, and you might have Washington.
And I think still a high pick, probably not first round, but Christopher Smith is going to be picked pretty high.
Yeah, Christopher Smith's going high. McClendon. Hope Van Pran comes back. And shout out to Kirby Smart's parents who weren't able to make the trip because little situation with his dad. But seriously, glad that got to meet their family when I was coaching Kirby. Just great. You know, his sister and brother, just a great family. He's going to make another run a quarterback draw here. Just let him take it in there.
3rd and 11 here. Remember that the Bennett family will still be around Georgia because Stetson's younger brother is on the team.
Yeah. They're going to try to heat us up here.
Lad McConkey. I'll tell you that guy.
What'd he say? That's it.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Yeah, I think you put Beck in. How about McConkey?
I mean, best game of the season on this stage. I mean, you go halfway across the
Look
country.
at all those kids' way they react to him. They know what he puts out every week. I'm for putting Stetson in for 1 play and then letting him come off. Because he had 3 touchdown passes or 4. Three touchdowns.
4 touchdown passes, 1 to Bowers, 2 to McConkey, and then A.D. Mitchell.
And then 2 runs.
And 2 runs, responsible for 6.
Well, that's a good pressure out there. Wonder why 28 didn't stay with him, but he's waving at that coach. Got any questions?
Yeah, we had some. Let me scroll back up to those.
I got a question for you. If you want a job, you need to look at Caterpillar there and look at Yancey Brothers, because they're looking for all types of personnel. I mean, they got people all over the state. They got offices everywhere. They got something for you. Check it. What do you look online? What's the how do you look for it?
Just go to yancybros.com/dogs, and that'll get you hooked up where you need to be to see the career page there.
And yeah, I'll come train you how to run one of those Caterpillars.
All right, I'm going to scroll back up here in the chat. Bill Florence, coach, is this Stetson's best game?
Yeah, you gotta think. He only made one. The first throw to Darnell was a little behind him, but I mean, he's like, what is he like? Unbelievable. We had one drop by Edwards, but the one interference. But I would say, I don't know what else you could ask for a guy.
Let's see here. Coach, how proud are – this is from Walker Dog. How proud are you of Kirby, given what you said about the team turning over so many players since last season?
Yeah, I mean, you just see the influence that he has from a leadership perspective of, bringing in 4 new coaches, realizing they had to reconfigure his team, talk to everybody about the challenge of being ourselves and creating our own image instead of worrying about trying to be like last year. And these kids bought into it. And that's one of the things you want to do on a team is when you're called on is know your role and then step in there and do it. But we've talked about it for the people that don't watch our show during the week, but practice at Georgia is the kind of practice that's going to help you develop as a player, because they run an inordinate amount of plays and fundamentals and all very well organized. And if you're a third team guy, you're getting as many reps as a first team. You might not be going against the same caliber of personnel, but you're getting the chance to learn the system and kind of soak and develop. For instance, we saw that with Jordan Davis playing on a scout team and just developing. And then all of a sudden the coaches said, look, we can put this guy in on short yardage and he can be a space eater. And then all of a sudden he kept developing. Now he's playing in the NFL. And, it's just not a utopia. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you got to practice and you got to work, but there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, we got good strength and conditioning. Our nutrition is out of the world. I mean, these guys eat. I mean, they eat good. And I think one of the players said one time, hey, it's good to eat healthy and all. He said, once in a while, we got to have some fried chicken.
Yeah.
So I like that chicken too. I like that fried chicken. And hey, I want to give a shout out to Josh Collins, who provided us some food tonight, and tell us about his location out there. And
yeah, it's Classic City Eats out there in Oconee County and
in Watkinsville. And it used to be over here on Baxter, but now he's got the whole menu, and they got the kids games for you. We take your kids out there. They got pizza for them.
They've got the golf simulator.
And they got a golf simulator, and just give you that quality food and service. And you have to wait a little longer for the chicken because they cook it fresh every time. And by that, you don't have to wait long, but it's not going to be cold. And you're going to get fresh chicken when you go in there with a good menu of a lot of different sides, too. They got some. Look at this right there. Warren Brinson, get him down.
And then got away from Pop, too.
That's the kind of broken play there. It just kills you.
And then he threw it incomplete.
But thanks a lot to Josh and Amy. Happy that their program's going good out there with their new place. And
yeah, Classic City Eats is awesome.
Sent us some sliders tonight that were bigger than the regular hamburger.
Yeah, they call them sliders. I don't
And
believe
then
it.
it had the pork barbecue sliders, the chicken sliders, and the hamburger, and then some wings that just
You love those lemon pepper wings.
I like those lemon pepper ones to go down my throat.
Here's a question that I think is impossible. Brock Bowers or Keith Jackson? That's from Kirk Spears.
Well, Brock is among the better players I've seen. Keith Jackson was just so good at making the big play. Like this guy's going to make one right here. Keith was a little bit bigger, but they're both just tremendous players and tremendous people. We had the safety blitz there. This guy's going to get a lot of garbage time now.
Madison says, opinions on Amarius Mims. I went to high school with him.
Well, he's had a good year. He almost transferred, but he stuck with it, and we're really glad he did. He came in there and played extremely well last week, had one of the highest grades, and then McClendon's playing some tonight, but this is his last game. But Amarius Mims is going to be a high draft choice. Big stud. Dates a volleyball player here at Georgia. I guarantee you one thing, if they get married, they're going to have a good athlete.
Make sure I haven't missed. Jermaine King says that the game was over when Stetson got his hair cut. Yeah, the barbershops in Athens going to fill up now.
Great play, Bill. Hey, Robert Bill, let's just say a little bit about him. A couple years ago, we had all those defensive ends. Anderson, just one after the other, Smith. And he hung around and did what Kirby and the coaches told him. And when we really needed him last year, Anderson got in the difficulties that he got. And, Bill's played good for us, a lot like William Poole did down the stretch last year. And has had a good career. Happy for him. I would have never thought that this would have been the score after 3 quarters. I did predict that we had a physical dominance on these guys as far as players that, athletes. But
so explain to me, how can TCU look so big and not so big necessarily, but so physical and prepared for Michigan? And I know Michigan turned the ball over and gave them 14 points. But when you watch that game, it just looks like a different level of competition.
Yeah, right now, this doesn't look like any kind of even SEC game. It looks like us playing Vanderbilt. I think part of it is these guys had such a horrendous start and got mesmerized. And, the pressure of the moment gets even worse when you start pressing. You know what I mean? And they've pressed from day one out there. Who started the quarterback. I know I said he looked nervous as a prostitute in church, but he did. And we took advantage of it. And they're fortunate that they held us to a field goal on that one possession, or it would have been pretty bad. It still ended up. That's a great time. Kirby called the end of the half to get the ball for one more possession after Bullard intercepted. But,
here's an amazing stat for you. You ready for this? So this is, I'll give credit to Matt Brown, senior editor at The Athletic. Georgia scored 40-plus points against AP top 5 teams 3 times ever, including twice in the past week and a half.
Is that right?
Only one other time ever scoring more than 40 over a top 5 AP.
Something else that's really impressive is there's a Georgia quarterback, high school quarterback, since 2014. There's been at least one Georgia quarterback in the championship game. That says a lot for high school football when you go back to the guys that have played. This is incredible.
Makes you wonder if Trevor Lawrence finds his way to Athens.
Deshaun Watson,
Same.
Trevor Lawrence,
What could have been?
Justin Fields played for Ohio State, but he played for us too, and then Bennett the last 2 years. It's incredible.
There's a lot of good players that don't end up with championship rings that are vital to get Georgia's program to a spot like this. Guys like Jake Fromm that came up just shy in 17.
Yeah.
And they're all over the field. I was looking back at that 2016 Liberty Bowl.
Read these guys' names just so we make sure we get them right.
All right. Nick Marshall in 2014, Deshaun Watson 15, Deshaun Watson 16, Jake Fromm in 17, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and then Stetson Bennett.
That's pretty good for Georgia high school football. Go ahead, what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I was just some of the names on that team in 2016 that Kirby Smart's first season at Georgia. I was watching that game back. And, you know, it was the Lorenzo Carters and Nick Chubbs and Sonny Michelle's, but it was also Brandon Cablano. And
right.
Just
they're going to go for it here.
Mike G says, Coach, have you ever had frog legs, and do they taste like chicken?
I've had frog legs, kind of meaty. I didn't eat many of them, but I can't remember what it tasted like. I didn't want any more of them, though.
Stuart, I'll ask your question, but I think we know the answer. Coach Donnan, who do you believe is the best quarterback in Georgia history? Looking back, I can't see that any other Georgia quarterback has done what Stetson has.
Good coverage, Taki. No, I mean, when you look at just results, I mean, there might, you know, Stafford, certainly first-round draft choice. There's a lot of, you know, Murray has all the records. He didn't get much defense playing when he was playing, but it's just hard to beat a record. I mean, he was 28-3 going into this game, and he got hurt against Florida. But I hope they let him go in for one play and then bring him out.
I think it was Tom Munkin that mentioned this. I don't remember which media day.
This is his last play of his career right here.
But just the way that Stetson Bennett saved Georgia's ass against Arkansas a couple of years ago.
Right. This is his last play in college football.
Branson Robinson in the game.
That ain't going to bring him out. Curtain call. No, I didn't.
Maybe they want him to end on a pass. Maybe he's soaking it up and said, "You're not taking me out."
He wouldn't do that. He wants those guys to play. I'd like to see Vandergrift play some too, Beck and Granite Vandergrift.
Darnell Washington's still out there.
He's going to call a timeout here, and then he's coming out of the game. This is what's going to happen.
There you go. I want to hear this crowd reaction. Yep.
That's a good move there.
Good for that guy.
That's a good stage there. Class.
I mean, his competitiveness, his talent, I mean, he's got everything you want.
Yeah.
And then all those little baby boys and girls are going to be named Bennett for eternity from this story in the state of Georgia. Lump Dog says, I just stood up and clapped in my house.
You know, I got a good relationship with Stet, and he's a lot closer to other people than me. But the last thing I told him on Thursday was, hey, I've been behind you from the start. Be yourself. Enjoy the moment. Take what they give you.
He did all that.
You can take good, but I give a lot of credit to a couple guys, too, behind the scenes. Buster Faulkner, we're losing him to Georgia Tech. He deserves it. I mean, he took a big risk leaving Southern Miss a couple years ago. He was a coordinator. He came here. He had some job offers, but he was an analyst, working with the offense, helping with the quarterbacks, and took a cut in pay. But he's been behind the scenes, kind of like Jay Johnson was when Fromm was here. And also Mike Bobo coming in here this year, kind of steadying influence. You know, his relationship with Kirby goes back to when they were playing in college. And Kirby values his opinion just like he does everybody. But I think Mike has really been good for Stetson too. And then, of course, Todd Monken has just been outstanding. The games, the way he's called games and set things up, but certainly it's a lot, like he says, a lot easier to call plays when you got a big buffet line of things to do. But the way we hopefully told you about the way the plays opened up tonight, the way he used the formations and all was just outstanding. And we'll see what Beck can do here. I hope he plays within himself and doesn't try to do too much. He's got a good arm. Don't try to run the ball back. Just move it around. 52-7 national championship. I remember when the Chicago Bears won that game 63-0 in the NFL championship game. Like, I don't know, it was 1940 something, but I don't think I can ever remember a championship game being this one-sided. I just don't sit on it. Made old Kirby a lot of money, Stetson. Leader.
And then Carson back instantly to Karis Jackson.
Let him catch one and let old 8 catch one too.
Tied for most touchdowns responsible for in a BCS or college football playoff championship game, tying him with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had a comment, I think it was yesterday, someone was asking about his championship window, and he said, my championship window is whenever I'm playing my whole career.
Yeah, that's the way he looks at it.
But that mindset, and they're different players and they have different skill sets and yada yada. But like whatever that is mentally and competitively, Joe Burrow and Stetson Bennett, I can kind of see some of the same.
Unbelievable. Here it is.
There's Brock Vandegrift over on the sideline too.
Yeah, I hope we let him play a little tonight. 28-3.
There'll be some celebrations, but just the way the calendar goes now, spring ball's here in a hurry.
Well, we start March 15th. All this crowd stuff is good, but I like to see the game. We got Erickson in at center.
Could be his last time in the red and black.
Still playing Bowers in Washington. Arian don't get a penalty, Smith.
Stetson played hurt a lot this year too. I don't know if that was ever fully delved into, but he's a tough guy.
Oh, penalty.
Got to think they'll be doing another celebration of some kind. I mean, obviously when they get back to Athens, but
yeah,
you remember last year they had a stadium event.
So you make it there and go for a field goal.
Let's look at the final stats of – that's a good pass.
It's Wade Dillon.
Dylan Bell. Stetson Bennett's final stats of the night, 18 25, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns passing, rushing 3 carries for 39 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Good throw and catch. We got some young guys in there now. Maybe the O-lines is still the same.
I see Delp in there. Bowers is still in there. Broderick's still in there.
Pretty strong run there.
Half of the bruises.
Oh, come on.
Xavier Chelsea's going to celebrate anyway.
That's a pretty strong run. Yeah.
Did they signal touchdown? Like, there's no way that's not a touchdown. Branson Robinson. Still a lot to learn, but you can't teach it a lot of things he possesses.
He's a powerful guy. God, he's laying in the end zone. Big thrill for a guy, a true freshman, scored a college touchdown in the championship game. Did Stetson have to go back in there or they let Thorson?
That's why you're the coach, because I wouldn't even thought of that. You're always thinking the next play of what you have to do. I just assume that happens.
Brian Gantz, another guy needs some love. He does a lot of things behind the scenes. Keeps up, just like the players. You imagine how many players we got that got cars, and you see somebody's license is expired, or he keeps up with all that and makes sure everybody's got. We don't have any off the field issues that are just. There's a lot of things you got to keep up with, but then guys like Austin Chambers, they're checking these kids on class, going to class, and Collier, our nutritionist, does a great job too. And of course, Gage Witten and his staff with the equipment. I asked him what color shirts the coaches are going to wear tonight. He said black, so I put a black one on here so I look like a coach. But we talk about Ron Corson and Drew Wilson with the Connor Norman, Chris, Ryan. They do a tremendous job.
I mean,
this training program.
This has to be the largest margin of victory in a title game.
Well, he went over with that one, didn't he? It's 59-7.
59-7.
One thing about Coach Dykes, you don't want to have on your resume what was the worst score in the history of the college football playoff. And what you're going to see with this 12-team playoff, you're probably going to see some of these games like this, but you might see some teams winning that you would have never thought win too. So
I just think it's kind of, the thought was with the semifinals that those had not really been competitive in a few years. Yeah. And this year,
I think it's going to help, though. You're going to have at least 4 teams out of the 12 from the SEC. Yeah. So that's going to make it. And we're SEC oriented, but
I mean, for the foreseeable future, Alabama and Georgia are in every playoff. So
right.
Good luck. Ohio State's in every playoff. Good luck.
Wonder what kind of ratings they got on TV tonight. It's probably good first half, but
I would imagine, things can change, obviously. If you had a 12-team playoff, I would just pencil in Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame every year. I know Notre Dame slips sometimes.
Yeah, Notre Dame will have to pick it up a little bit. I don't know if that guy's the answer, but he might be. But
they have a good quarterback with Hartman coming next year. So
yeah, he'll help.
At least for a year, I think they'll.
They beat South Carolina. What's that, the Santa Monica Pier?
Someone just tweeted me and said, well, I guess it's a storybook ending. Georgia finally benched Stetson Bennett.
That's pretty funny.
It's well done. That's worthy of a retweet. And that's a professor at the University of Alabama. He's a Georgia fan there. He graduated from Georgia.
It'll be interesting to see tomorrow or in the next couple of days. There's Coach Dooley doing a little promo. I know would be happy with this, looking down on Georgia, but he was very proud of Kirby too. It's going to be interesting to see who hits the transfer portal. Yep.
Is this a timeout for another curtain call? Chris Smith?
Might be the whole defense.
Come out.
Chris Smith. Ringo and Smith. Carter. I tell you, Ringo was all over him tonight. How many catches Johnson had? Probably get some now, but
1 for 3 yards.
So that's a big matchup tonight. Yeah, I'd have liked to have been out there. I wanted to go, but didn't work out.
At this rate, you'll have another chance.
No, I'm not going to ask them again. If they couldn't take me this year, I don't think they'd ever take me.
It's Atlanta in 2 years, right? Houston next year, Atlanta the following. Is that right?
I don't look that far ahead. Houston next year, I know. I guess they cut back on the amount of people they took from UGA this year. They took everybody last year.
Well, the countdown begins to UT Martin and Ball State.
When does we play South Carolina early too, don't we?
Within the first month. I can pull up a 2020.
We got UT Martin, Ball State, and South Carolina.
UT Martin on September 2nd, then Ball State, then South Carolina, but that's in Athens. I mean, Georgia doesn't leave until first 5. Let's see, first 1, 2, 3. First 4 games are at home, then you get at Auburn.
Yeah. Who's the fourth team?
UAB.
Got Trent Dilfer coming in there.
Kentucky at Vandy, bye week, Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Georgia Tech. So
Tennessee, last game will be big.
Playing Ole Miss later rather than earlier is the way for them. Their roster changes so much every year.
Be anxious to see how some of these, if they keep their quarterback in, I don't think I would get the garbage, but let somebody else play and don't get him hurt and let him get ready. You know, he's had a heck of a year, Duggan. I mean, just Georgia's too much for him tonight.
This is obviously a one-sided day, but TCU had a remarkable season.
Right.
And it's going to be soured by this at the end, but
we got some younger guys in there on defense now, boy. Marshall, Sorey.
We'll have a lot of Tuesdays to talk about in the upcoming weeks, but
I guess we're going to do the show.
We're not going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we'll do something.
We'll do it like Wednesday or so.
Either that or we make them just whoop.
We got the blitz on here. Take it easy on them there, Coach. Back to safety blitz. 59-7.
Got to get that ball back to Carson Beck.
Look at this, Tyke Smith.
There's a hole.
Brinson coming in there too.
I like Brinson a lot.
We got Evans at corner and Nyland Green at corner.
David Daniels in there.
They got minus yards rushing because of all these losses.
Jalen Walker down here.
I see Walker coming off the edge here. Came inside too much. Still playing Leicester. How many yards rushing they got? This shows you the kind of ability this kid has, though. I mean, step up and then let it go. He's going for it here. I think that's not fair to your kids.
Jalen Walker. I mean, because of the sack totals, the rushing yards for TCU is down to 16.
Hmm. You ought to make that play, but he made it. That's good.
You're going to see a lot of Jalen Walker next year. Fellow North Carolinian.
Yep. Salisbury. Dad's the coach. Got a brother who's going to be a player too, junior. I don't know why in the world you wouldn't punt that ball there, Coach. You're just going to make your team give up 66.
UGA Chris M says, thank you guys for all you do. This is a super chat. Coach, it's time for some jokes and stories and songs.
Look at this walk on. No, that was actually,
that's Branson Robinson, true freshman.
yeah.
He's trying to become leading rusher. Super chat from Sherry. Thank you, Sherry. It says, before the champagne's brought out, here's a shout out to you guys for a great year of entertainment. Thanks for the memories. And Coach, Elvis has not yet left the building.
I'm going to have to do one for Sonny Dykes.
Sherry, super kind of you. Thank you for watching.
The song for Sonny is, are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss coaching tonight? Are you sorry your team drifted apart? Oh, we missed one. Who was that? Missed his last kick in college football. Podleski never missed a kick.
I'm glad that wasn't Vegas pending.
He didn't want one of those. He's never missed an extra point, has he?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know he hadn't missed the field. I tell you, I got a lot of respect for Sonny Dykes. I probably shouldn't have. Forget that I sang that song, but it was just he's got to feel bad. His whole team. But look at the year they had. I mean, they picked 7th in the league. They, came with an undefeated season to the last game of the year when they played in the Big 12 championship game and lost on the last play. Just outmanned here. I mean, it was Lions and the Christians, man. It was outmanned.
Sherry did 2 super chats. So, Sherry, thank you for your generosity. Philip Beck says it's Bennett to Beck as kind of handing the torch off.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think Bennett's made so much progress over the years without question. Now Beck has started to develop. He's got a relationship with Coach Munkin going back to he played Little League Baseball with Munkin's son, and they've known each other a long time. So, but I think he had the chance to win the job when Daniels went down, and Bennett just took it from him. But
before UAB last year,
right?
Yeah,
and because he was running second team. And they didn't even give Bennett much of a shot. And then Kirby made the move and never looked back. But I think Vandergriff and Gunnar Stockton certainly bring a lot to the table. And it's not a given that Beck's got the job because these two guys are good. And you're going to have to deliver and play on a level that Coach Munkin and Coach Smart won't. and he's capable of that. He's got the arm and he's knows the system, but just gotta go out there and do it. There's a little difference, and he's been waiting his turn, and he certainly got a lot of good qualities, and we'll see how it goes. But I don't necessarily say just because he's a second team that he's going to be the guy any more than you do any second teamer. You got to earn that first team job, So, but he's definitely the odds-on guy, and if he wins it, then one of these quarterbacks probably going to leave. So, which you can't blame him.
I tend to think that's, and there'll be a few of these in this team. That could be one of those competitions that goes well into the fall.
I would say between now and when is the 18th is when there's the guy, the Masters caddy. I remember. I would say between now and the 18th, we will have at least 10 guys in the portal. Not because they're disgruntled, it's just because of the reality of they want to go play. Just like last year, we lost 13, didn't we?
Well, and there's a lot of those players that had really good seasons. Justin Robinson was just a couple of years, yeah.
Well, you look at guys starting around the league, everywhere. And then Speed started for West Virginia, Michigan State. You had of course, our receiver, Burton, was Alabama's one of their top receivers. Breeny was playing for Arkansas. Just you put Morris in at quarterback now. That's Chad Morris's son.
Keep waiting for Chad Morris to get hired at Clemson somehow since he's in the family.
Yeah, I wish you would for our sake. But that Masters guy story. First time I went to play the Masters, it was early in the day, and I got down there, so I was on the hitting some balls off the range, and about 11 o'clock, and so Billy Payne, who everybody knows is a Masters guy, that's a Georgia guy, had told me, he said, you should bring some caps here and give them to the caddies. So I got about 5 or 6 in my caddy. I gave him a cap, and he said, this is a big day for me, Coach, and I appreciate you giving me this hat. I said, well, I'm glad to do it. And he said, yeah, it's a big day for me. So I'm thinking, yeah, you'll be caddying for a Georgia coach. He said, yeah, I just caddied 18 holes for George Bush. So the older Bush came in there before anybody's on the grounds and played privately. So he put me in my place pretty quick.
Did you score better than him? That's the question.
I tell you, I've been nervous before in a lot of things, but a non-competitive thing there, the most nervous I've ever been is hitting off the first tee at the Masters, and it wasn't anybody there. I mean, you just thinking about it, but I hit a nice cut up the left fairway and brought it back in, and didn't play that bad. I enjoyed it. I did birdie number 12, which is, we played it about 5 or 6 times, but I birdied it once, so I can always say I birdied that.
Lump Dog says, thanks for a great season. Best one yet. We'll catch you next year.
Pick. Yeah, I think it's a good year. Number 1, what'd you get tonight? You didn't help your pro thing. You're still a pro prospect, but he get 3 yards?
3 yards.
He's want to take a private plane out of there.
Amari Carmichael says this is the largest national championship deficit in history.
Well, what about what's that Riley's brother's name?
Garrett?
Yeah, how he could win the Broyles Award over Todd Monken is kind of like Joe Moore Award going to Michigan's line.
Do you think that Texas and Oklahoma look at this and say, uh-oh?
I would have liked to seen that little kid run one back. He's fast as a hiccup.
Is that Makai Muse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Makai Muse.
He's really quick. I hope he put him in there and throw him a screen. Put Vandegrift in. Let's see what he can do. Whoever's in is just going to hand it off. What are we at? 65?
65-7. And they're talking about Colorado football with Deion Sanders.
Dion?
Got to fill 5 minutes. We get it. We're in the same business.
We got Vandergriff in there. Or not? Nope.
That's Beck handing off to
That's that walk-on kid.
Savon Clark.
Yeah.
He's been there for a while in this role. Good for him to get to play in the national championship.
You got to think you put Vandergriff in, just let him hand the ball off. Yeah, that was Austin Chambers over there. The only thing Stetson hadn't done yet is graduate. I don't know. He's got to go on and do that.
Muse is in there as a receiver now.
Look at that, Clark. The thing about Bennett's been here for 2 terms, Bush and Biden. Not Bush, I mean Trump and Biden. Guy's brilliant. I mean, got an IQ like yours, Dane. You're over 150, aren't you? Aren't you a Mensa?
I don't know any of that, Coach. I write for a living.
Yeah.
Branson Robinson, 42 yards. He's Georgia's second leading rusher. But Georgia has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rushers with more than 30 yards.
Got some of the younger guys in there. Erickson's the older guy, but then you see Wilson, Blasky,
Jackson Meeks. Mims and Truss getting some love from Kirby.
Yeah. There's Will Wells, does a good job during practice. He's one of the equipment men, but his job is to be beside Kirby and control the clock. You know, you have a 15-minute period. If things aren't going well, it becomes 18 minutes, or sometimes it's going well, it becomes 12 minutes. But Will keeps up with the clock. Clark. Put Vandergriff in there and let him keep one.
Chad Lindbergh's in there. Rylan Godey.
This is like a nightmare.
When you're on the other side of that, I have to think that clock feels like it doesn't ever move.
Yeah. Keep going there, horns. Hook 'em horns. Sure, a lot of Texas fans are happy with that game.
Can't believe all the national media people. I mean, Desmond Howard picked TCU. Lee Corso picked TCU. Stephen A. Smith picked TCU.
Stephen A. Smith? Are you serious?
He did. Did it with Paul Finebaum this morning. They had Finebaum on his show. And Finebaum said, that's the craziest thing you've ever said.
Stephen, yeah, good job. I want to see that one.
You find out real quick the ones that actually watch college football when it gets to that level and they're asked about it for a national title.
Going to victory.
Mark Brown with the super chat says, thanks for a great season, guys. See you in September. Thank you for watching, Mark.
Yep.
Jermaine King, thank you, sir.
What'd he do?
Super chat. We will have a post-game overreaction show.
That ought to be good. Wonder what they can find wrong with that. We had to kick a field goal.
That missed extra point. Hug for Dale McGee. He got out of the way.
There's little boy, Andrew.
It's Leland Barrow. Malachi Starks. Jalen Carter's last game at Georgia. I definitely hasn't been a back-to-back-to-back in my life. This is the 4th back-to-back during my lifetime. You win 3 in a row. That's rarefied air for sure. But celebrate the 2. This is special, and especially doing it this with Josh Brooks, Stetson Bennett. Stetson finding Duggan. That's a nice moment.
Yep. See this victory celebration here?
We're going to turn it up and react to what they're saying here.
No doubt the most outstanding player for a 4th time in the CFP game. Runs for a couple touchdowns. Ellie.
Such a classy deal by him.
You took a moment as this game is winding down to look up and soak in this moment. What is washing over you right now, Stetson?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Last champions of the whole damn world, man. I don't know. Just trying to see everybody for the last time. Hug everybody. Trying not to cry.
Early in this game, you ran it in. You used your legs twice. How did you set the tone for your team in this moment?
We knew with their defense that my legs were going to be a part of it. Buck made 2 great calls, and I just trusted it. Went out there, and they made blocks, and I didn't get touched on both ones. So I don't know.
Coaches talked to you when you walked off the field. There was a moment that the entire crowd is on their feet cheering for you, giving you a curtain call in a national championship game. That doesn't happen often. What did you think when that happened?
It does not happen with Coach Smart, I can tell you that. That was special. I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
For something in your ear, what did he tell you?
He just told me he loved it. And just the journey that we've been through together. That right there, Rick. Just seeing everybody who was here from when I got here, and they're still here, and we're back to back. I don't know.
For a kid from Blackshear, Georgia, what do you say to your hometown, all the people there who have believed in you from the very beginning?
Well, it's God's country. It's the greatest place on earth, and it made me who I was today. That Blackshear, Nahon, I give Nahon a shout out too. I love those people. The Herons and the Bears, baby. They made me who I was, and I can't wait to get back there.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. You're back-to-back champ. Chris.
Almost at a loss for words, as we are when you describe his story and his legacy. He can call in for the last time. This is the definition of going out on top in college football.
Sometimes it's not about the money, right? The NIL dollars. It's about the experience. It's about the moment. It's about memories that you create for yourself and your team and your fans. That's what we just witnessed.
All is well that ends well, and it ends spectacularly. It has been a journey unlike any other. There's some anger, some hatred, and some bitterness along the way.
Back-to-back national champions.
Hey, congratulations. Happy for all of Dog Nation. Deserved it. Wasn't any doubt. Everybody played a role. There's Carter with the flag, and Kirby doesn't even know who to shake next there. Big boy comes in there, rolls to it.
Well, Georgia's the top of the mountain. It was last year. It is again. It's the class of the sport. It's a dynasty now.
How many yards rushing and catching the ball did Six get? I don't think he made it. He's supposed to get 60 yards rushing. And
he had 50 rushing.
How many passing?
Catching, -1.
Can't beat those hats.
Glad Bullard's out there celebrating. Here's Kirby Smart.
How did they do that with this dominant performance today?
Really aggressive plan, not holding back anything. We wanted our kids to play without fear. And all year I told them, I said, we ain't getting hunted, guys. We're doing the hunting. And hunting season's almost over. We only got one more chance to hunt, and we hunted tonight.
Back-to-back national championships, the first time that's ever happened in the college football playoff era. Why could this team get that done?
Because they had a will to work. They didn't listen to what everybody said about them. And everybody doubted them to start the year. And that chip on the shoulder was just big enough to create an edge for our team. Because every time they got down, they came out fighting.
Speaking of chips on shoulders, Stetson Bennett's career here has been full of obstacles and triumph. What has he meant to you? What has he meant to this program?
Well, he's meant a lot to me personally because of what he's gone through and what he's put up with from the outside noise. But to this university, for a kid that was told he wasn't good enough, to come back and win 2 national championships, and he's really phenomenal. I mean, he did some things tonight that was electric, and he's one of a kind. He's a special football player, and he should get many opportunities to keep playing.
Coach, how has Georgia become one of the most benchmark programs in college football?
It's hard work. I mean, we don't run from work. Our kids don't run from work. We go out there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and we hit the other day, and all the kids are like, Coach, we got to keep doing it. It's who we are. And as long as you don't have entitlement in your program, you got a shot. And right now, we don't have that. It's creeping. The games like tonight make it that way, but we got a lot of humble guys.
All right, congratulations on the win, Coach.
Thank you so much to Georgia fans that came out. Awesome. Go Dogs.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Games like tonight is when entitlement creeps in. He's already getting ready to flip that page. But I did like
We're gonna let him smoke some cigars tonight, probably.
I like that he took that moment to lobby for Stetson Bennett to get a good look in the NFL.
Yeah, here's the thing. Biggest thing now is making sure all the players make the plane tomorrow. Unreal.
Well, Coach, it's always a joy to do this with you. We don't get to do it if it's not for our friends over at Yancey Brothers and Athens Ford and Bud Light Next. We talked a lot about Bud Light Next. Leon Farmer, someone that's supported anything we've been involved with since we started doing this show, and we're just so thankful to the Farmer family and that business and what they mean to Georgia. But to me, this is just a joy of my professional career to get to know you and to share these moments with you.
Enjoyed it. Appreciate you putting up with all the technical things we got to go through, and you always make it smooth. And this is a good way to watch a game if you're a Georgia fan, particularly winning like this. But overall, just to see the guys work like they did this last week, knowing that had the challenge of not playing as up to your potential last week, and coming back like they did tonight, just incredible victory.
Takes a full team. You'll hear a lot about Stetson Bennett and his story and everything. But there's a lot of players it took to get here. And, I mean, I noticed this in watching the Ohio State tape. If David Daniel Sismanov doesn't make his open field tackle on C.J. Stroud and he gets a few extra yards at the end, who knows? But he did, and then this opportunity can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, just a lot of ifs, but there's a Monken talking to Carter. Can I be your agent?
Well, Paul Meharry captured a really good moment from the Peach Bowl with those two, and it was Todd Monken going to Jalen Carter and saying, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter where you get picked, this stuff is what lasts forever.
much and becomes a national treasure as a walk-on. It takes a little bit of everybody to make it, what it is. So congratulations to everybody involved with the program. Top to bottom, Jerry Moorhead has really been very good about making a commitment to facilities here. All the things that Kirby's built in the last 6 years, to McGarity for hiring him, and then we got a good situation going here. Just don't let it get away from us here. So congratulations. Thanks again to our sponsors, and go Dogs.